great. And of course, spam those shares down there as well. That also helps boost the live. And as always, drop a follow if you haven't already. We do these lives all the time. We're trying to do them every single night until election day, doing our best to get that done anyway. But aside from all of that, you know what we're doing here tonight, folks. Of course, you know what we're doing here. If you've been here before, you're well aware of what we're doing here this evening. And that is talking to MAGA. Talking to MAGA. You say, how is anybody still voting for Donald Trump in the year 2024? How is anybody still supporting Trump? Your guess is as good as mine. Your guess is as good as mine. So we're going to find out tonight. So if you are MAGA, if you are a conservative, if you are a Republican, if you are anti-Biden, anti-Harris, anti-Democrat, whatever it might be, come on up. Tell me why on earth. Tell me why on earth you are voting for Donald Trump. We're going to bring in this gentleman right here. What's up, man?
Yo,
what's up?
I just got some questions, man. I ain't no hater. I ain't trying to argue. I was in the military, and I'm actually thinking about getting back in. So I ain't voting. First of all, I'm not going to vote. I don't. Nobody's going to change my mind. I don't want to vote.
Okay.
But I want to know what your thoughts on World War III is.
What are my thoughts on World War III?
Like, do you think? So I have no hate for anybody, right? But I just think having a female as president would show, like, I guess, weakness from other countries, you know. And you don't think that if we have a female as president,
no,
it could cause a World War III?
No, no. Just to be clear, there are plenty of countries out there who have women as leaders.
Yeah,
and they do just fine.
I know that. I think about that too, and I just don't know. We've never had a female as president. And
yeah, but we've had women serve as like Secretary of State, which is an incredibly important position. We've had women work in the Department of Justice, the FBI, the EPA, all of these different agencies. It's like, come on, man,
yeah,
we're better than that.
And I ain't gonna. I just want to hear that. Last night, that guy, y'all was going back and forth so much. I really couldn't keep up and understand what he was trying to say. But either way, whoever gets in, how long do you think it'll take for them to solve the Russian-Ukraine war?
I think Trump will either never solve it or he'll solve it in a way that's really dumb. So he'll just like make up a bunch of concessions and give Russia a bunch of stuff just to say he solved it, even though it doesn't help the situation. Whereas I think that Kamala Harris will be competent and methodical, and she'll listen to her advisors and people in the military who know best, and she'll do that. And that, you know, who knows how long that'll take, but it'll certainly be a better approach than Donald Trump.
Yeah. I don't know, man. That's the only thing that really got me is the Russian-Ukraine war. I just feel like, you know, like that guy said last night, I feel like he could do it, but at the same time, I listen to you a lot. I don't ever come up because I ain't going to argue. I used to say Trump 2020 and all that, but, you know, as I got older, I was in the military, I realized, you know, I don't like to vote. I'm not too into politics. I just wanted to know what you had to say about
what state are you? What state would you be voting in if you were going to vote?
Arkansas.
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
I just moved to Arkansas from Louisiana. I was stationed in Louisiana.
Gotcha. And you're thinking about going back?
Yeah. I'm trying to get back in right now.
That's cool, man. Well, I good luck with all of that. I'll let you go. I know you don't want to debate too much, so but just something to think about. All right.
Yes, sir. I'll see.
All right, man. Appreciate you. He's joining the military. He was in the military. Wanted to go back. I mean, you know, can't hate that. Can't hate that at all. We're always thankful for people's service, of course. So, you know, we can't hate that at all. So listen, if you're MAGA, let me know in the chat. I'll bring you up. And you can tell me why on earth you're MAGA. Is that a MAGA hat? Is that dude wearing a MAGA hat? No way this dude's wearing a MAGA hat in his profile picture. You got to be kidding me, bro. How embarrassing. Jonathan, hello. Are you MAGA? Well,
hello.
Venmo Cash App in the link in the bio, by the way. If anybody wants to support the live, Venmo Cash App link in the bio.
What is the second article of the U.S. Constitution?
Shut the fuck up. Why are you voting for Donald Trump?
What's
Shut
the second article
Why are you
of the
voting
U.S.
for Donald Trump?
Constitution?
Shut the fuck up. Why are you voting for Donald Trump?
You don't know.
Why are you voting for Donald Trump? We're not having a constitutional debate session here and going over the Constitution and the different articles and amendments and
Is the
sections of
Constitution part
each
of the
amendment.
presidency? Is it
Please
very
spare me.
important to it?
What
It
are you
is,
voting for?
exactly.
Why are you voting for Donald Trump? So are you here to talk about Donald Trump or not?
I
You're wearing a
believe
MAGA
he's
hat in
able-
your profile picture.
Because I believe he is able to manage the funds better than Kamala Harris.
How old are you?
18.
What year were you born?
2006.
I doubt it. What state are you voting in?
In South Carolina.
South Carolina? I don't think you're 18, my man. I think you have like this deceptive profile picture to try to get up here.
I don't know what you're talking about, man. I think
yeah.
you just don't know the Constitution that well.
What's section 1 of the 14th Amendment?
How about
That's what I
what's
fucking
Article
thought.
2 of the Constitution?
That's what I thought. 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 He wasn't 18, obviously. I wasn't 18. All right, if you're MAGA, let me know in the chat. I'll bring you up, and we can talk, and you can tell me why. Sorry, that was like, that was funny. That was fun. This guy says, Harry, please invite me. I've been waiting for so long. Sure, why not? Let's get him up here. Hello, are you MAGA?
No, I actually just wanted to let you know you changed my vote, dude. I'm voting out of Georgia, like one of the most red areas in Georgia.
What county in Georgia, if you don't mind asking?
Cherokee.
Cherokee, and is that for Kamala Harris or?
It is for Kamala.
Wow, that's awesome, dude. I appreciate you telling me that. That's crazy. And have you voted yet?
I have. I voted for Biden back in 2020. I'm kind of nervous being up here, to be honest.
There's no need to be nervous. Nothing to be nervous about. Plenty of people in here are very happy that you're here. But have you early voted yet in Georgia? Or have you not done that yet?
I haven't. I haven't.
You know, I think tomorrow is a great day. Hey, wait, do they have early voting on weekends in Georgia? I don't know. If they do, tomorrow's a great day to go out and early vote for Kamala Harris. You know?
Yeah, but I just wanted to thank you. Honestly, I wasn't too sure. I was honestly going to vote for Trump. Honestly, because I just didn't know any of the policy.
Wow. Well, I appreciate you listening, tuning in, and like thinking about this stuff as well. That's awesome, man. And I appreciate you coming up here and telling me that.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, man. Well, hey,
but,
you have a good one. Thanks, man. I appreciate that a lot. Shout out to him, man. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy, man. That's really cool. Like genuinely, it's very, very cool. That's very, very cool. You always love hearing stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's a nice switching people's votes, getting people to change their minds. Telling you, the power of conversation, it still works in my view. In my view, it still works. Sommer, thank you for the $2. Yes, W for Georgia from fellow Georgian. Thank you, Harry. Yes, Sommer. Thank you as well for voting in Georgia. Trying to do our best. Listen, if you are MAGA, let me know in the chat. I will bring you up and you can tell me why on earth you are MAGA. All right? You tell me. You tell me. Only request up if you are a MAGA Republican looking to debate. We'll get you up here and we can have the conversation and go from there. Let's bring up this guy. Is that a Green Bay Packers jersey? My God. Hold on. Wait, is he not coming up? I guess he's not coming up. Let's bring up... Oh, is he here? Oh, he is here. All right, hello?
What's up, man?
Not much, man. Are you voting for Trump?
Yep.
Why?
I mean, there's a bunch of reasons. I mean,
Like what?
I mean, the main thing I would say is probably immigration and
Okay.
what he plans on doing with it. Not just that, but just the last 4 years, basically the border being wide open and her having no real plan on what to do with all the people she let in, and just like how she answers questions at town hall on CNN. One lady asked her what she planned on to do on day one, which should have been such an easy question to answer, and she literally had nothing to say. Just stuff like that. Like I mean, I'm not saying Trump is the most presidential person, that we've ever had, but I just don't think Kamala is ready for the position. Maybe at some point in the future, but currently, she's just...
So where do you want to start? With immigration or her answering questions?
We could start with immigration.
Sure. So you would agree that immigration is a problem right now, correct? Would you agree it's a national security issue?
Certainly.
Okay. So then why would you be voting for Donald Trump, who blocked the bipartisan immigration bill? This was a bill that was written by Democrats and Republicans and written by one of the most conservative senators in the Senate, Senator James Lankford, who was endorsed by Donald Trump. Big endorsement in 2022. So why would Donald Trump tell his buddies in Congress to vote against that bill? And why would you vote for him if he's blocking progress?
Well, I mean, there was a bunch of people that were going to vote against that bill, including Democrats. Obviously, most of the Democrats were going to vote for it, but there was Democrats that weren't going to vote for it. And like just the effectiveness of it, what it would like a cap on, or it would, like more than 5,000 people would have to come in daily for it to even matter.
No, wrong. It wasn't 5,000 people coming in. It was just 5,000 encounters.
Average.
No.
Right.
No.
Okay.
5,000 encounters. So theoretically, of those 5,000 encounters, one person could come in. It doesn't say there's no set amount of people that come in. It's encounters at the border. And right now, there's no cap. There's no cap on how many people can come in daily, or or how many apprehensions there can be, or encounters at the border.
Okay, I have a question. Why did they wait till months before the election to try and get this going?
They didn't. The bill was worked on in 2023, and the Biden administration introduced an immigration bill on day one of their presidency called the U.S. Citizenships Act of 2021. And the Republicans rejected that. They didn't want to work with them on immigration. And now in 2023, they said no. Now in 2024, they're saying no. So why would you vote for somebody who wants to block that bill? Do you know what's in the bill? Like $14+ billion for Border Patrol, hiring more agents specifically to deal with drugs and asylum seekers, expanding immigration courts, making it easier to prosecute criminals and things like that.
I've heard all that stuff that's in the bill, but why didn't they?
So you agree with that stuff, right?
They could. Yeah, certainly. But they could have just done this by executive order. Like
they cannot
at any point.
They cannot.
They could have shut down the border.
They cannot. There's no power to the president or the vice president that gives them the ability to just quote unquote shut down the border. Also, Congress controls the purse. So when we talk about hiring more Border Patrol agents, Congress actually has to approve the funds to get that done. So the president by themselves cannot just say, yeah, we're going to hire more Border Patrol agents. It's like, well, with what money? They can't do that. Didn't they both
reverse, though, the executive orders done by Trump?
Yeah, so some of the executive orders that were really bad by Trump, that were some... Which ones are you specifically citing that were effective?
Remain in Mexico.
Remain in Mexico only affected around 70,000 people and wasn't even in use by the end of the Trump administration.
And how come when he lifted it, it like basically opened the floodgates?
Yeah, because the increase in immigration had nothing to do with overturning executive orders, right? And I'll explain that in a second, and I'll get
rhetoric.
I'll get you. Well, it has nothing to do with rhetoric either. I'll get you to agree in just a second. But what actually happened is that COVID happened. It forced people out of their home countries. These Southern American countries, their economies are not as strong as the United States. They did not bounce back in the way that we did. So these folks who were out of jobs, they were seeking economic opportunity. Where did that lead them? Coming to the United States. That's why there was an influx specifically during COVID years. And that increase actually started when Donald Trump was in office.
So all these people come into our country, you don't think that's like a burden on an already...
I'm not even arguing that. I'm saying, as well as Kamala Harris is saying, as well as Tim Walz, Joe Biden, Obama, everybody's saying that we need immigration reform desperately. Desperately. There's a problem at the border. Nobody disagrees with that. There's absolutely a problem at the border. It just depends on who is the person who's actually going to get that done. There's one person in this race who has proposed policy that's agreed upon by both sides and actually wants to get it done. There's another person in this race who blocks immigration policy for their own benefit and doesn't even have a coherent plan as to how they're going to address the problem. That's the difference.
I mean, I don't think anybody really has really thought out and coherent plan, just because it's such a mess. Like it's already such a problem that so many people are here, and it's not like anybody can really say anything until it's like put into action, and like it has to be done like in small steps. There's no like set policy that's just gonna fix this disaster that's happened. And so if what you're saying, like, so you're acknowledging that it's been a problem for for the last few years.
I wouldn't say it's been a problem for the last few years. I say it's been a problem for a long time now.
Well, yeah, obviously it's been a problem for a long time, but I mean it's been like an extreme problem for the last few years. So how come for literally the entire length of the administration, why did Kamala Harris and Joe Biden tell us that everything was fine and it was secure? And
they've never claimed that everything is fine, right? They were never like, oh yeah, the immigration system's perfect. They've been calling for reforms. If it just for the record, if they thought that everything was perfect and fine and that there was no need for immigration reform, they wouldn't have introduced immigration reform on day one of their presidency and vice presidency. Within like 20 minutes of being president, Biden sent a bill to Congress. It was pre-written before he got elected. It's called the U.S. Citizenships Act of 2021. Right. I would highly recommend you look it up.
What happened with it?
Yeah, Republicans didn't want to work on it. They refused to take it up. Just like this bipartisan bill, which again, written by Democrats and Republicans, they're refusing to vote for it. Mike Johnson and Steve Scalise in the House of Representatives, the whip and the speaker, within 5 minutes of this 300-page bill being released, they said, no, it will not get a vote. We will not bring it to the floor for a vote. Do you think they read the entire thing? Or maybe they blocked the bill for political reasons so Donald Trump's campaign could benefit?
Right, but that goes both ways. Democrats do the same thing all the time.
Can you give me an example of Democrats doing it?
Yeah, the second half of Trump's presidency, they blocked.
So what bill did they block? What bill did they block that would have helped the American people, and they blocked it for political reasons? Because if my recollection serves me correctly, in the middle of a pandemic, when Donald Trump was proposing, along with Congress, was proposing COVID relief, Democrats voted for that bill. Both of them.
Yeah, I mean, that was just something that had to be done. I'm not talking about that.
Well, wouldn't you say that a national security issue has to get done? And in the same vein that COVID was affecting a lot of people, immigration is an issue that's on top of people's minds. And the Democrats are the one at the table once again saying, hey, let's get this done. And the Republicans are the one backing away from the table.
Right, but why? I just can't wrap my head around, like, all of a sudden, and you can say that, like, Kamala Harris never said that the border was secure and all that, but she did, like, multiple times throughout the whole...
To be clear, the border issue is not a security issue, right? The border is more fortified than it's ever been before in American history. There's more wall, there's more fence, there's more laws surrounding immigration than ever before. So it's not a security issue, it's a law issue. The law is currently being exploited.
What do you mean by security issue?
So I'm trying to explain it to you, but you keep talking. So it's a law issue. It's the asylum process is being exploited. Basically, the asylum process is a legal claim where someone says, hey, I'm being persecuted in my home nation based on protected traits. And a lot of people are improperly using the system, and they're thus getting into the country that way. And they're actually legally here in the country by going through that method. The majority of people who have come into the country in the recent years and have come to the border are not people who are just walking in illegally. They're people who are abusing the asylum system. So when it comes to security, yeah, we want more Border Patrol agents. Yeah, we want to hire more people for sure, no doubt. But it comes down to, can we rewrite the law and make the law more strict and have a higher bar for people to seek asylum? And can we have a bigger immigration court so we can address these claims quicker? The Democrats are saying, hey, let's do that. The Republicans are saying, hey, let's not.
Right, but who oversaw that whole process of, like, making it where all they had to do was come to the border to say, I'm seeking asylum, and then, okay, we'll set you up for a later date to come
that's always
evaluate
been the process. That's always been the process. That is quite literally how asylum works. And by the way, they don't just come say, hey, I'm seeking asylum, and they're let into the country. There's a credible threat interview, among other things that take place at the border. If you pass your credible threat interview, then you are let into the country with a later court date. If you don't pass that interview, then you are not.
So what was the requirement to meet that threshold?
It's a very low burden. Basically, the goal or the idea with this credible threat interview is they ask you a couple of questions, and if you answer these questions correctly, then they'll let you into the country. So these questions can be as simple as, like, are you in fear for your life, right? And what do you fear? Right. And the idea is that they'll answer these preliminary questions and then go to court later and then have a higher burden of proof to prove that they are being targeted. But unfortunately, the system is being exploited, and it's still very easy for anybody to get through the asylum system, even if they're not fearing for their life. And right now, the problem is that there's such a backlog with the immigration courts that some of these people's cases don't get addressed for like 4 to 7 years. So Kamala Harris wants to reduce that number from 4 to 7 years to under 6 months, and also make it harder for people to seek asylum. So we have higher rates of success when it comes to, actual people who are incredibly fearing for their lives, and a higher rate of success in rejecting people who are not. Whereas Donald Trump has not mentioned asylum once. He does not talk about it. He has no policy around it.
Right, but That's because of what you just said. Like, asylum is just something that's being exploited. So, like, addressing it other than saying, like, we're no longer accepting asylum seekers. Like, what else is he going to say about asylum? But, like, so why all of a sudden in the last few years did we start getting people from all over the world? I know you blamed COVID, but that cannot be the only reason that people just start.
I don't understand why you think.
Borders.
I don't understand why you think that's not a good enough reason, because you can just look around the world and see that there was also mass migration in other countries. One of my favorite examples of this is France. The quote unquote, like, to put it in Americans' perspectives, the Democrats worked with the Republicans to pass an immigration bill, one of France's strictest immigration bills in their history, because they're experiencing the same problem that we are. Folks coming up from Africa, folks coming up from the Middle East or Asia to other countries to try to find work and economic opportunity. This is something that happened around the world post-COVID. It happened in Canada as well. They accepted the most amount of immigrants that ever last year, and now they're clamping down a little bit more. So that's why it's like, this is a global thing. This is not just specific to the United States. And countries around the world are taking action like we are.
It would have been such an easy thing to stop.
No, it would not have.
Just shut it down. Yet the president has the ability to shut down the border.
How?
By executive order.
The president cannot shut down the border with executive order.
I don't think that's true.
In what world do you think the president has the power to just say, yeah, with the signing of a pen, the border's just shut down? Has any president before in American history? Let's bring up law of the wild. I have to restart the live anyway. It doesn't matter. Let's bring up law of the wild. He's a lawyer. He'll explain this to you really briefly. That the president does not have the power to shut down.
No president has ever had to deal with this issue before.
There are presidents before Joe Biden, who have had to deal with immigration.
At this rate?
I mean, it doesn't matter at rate, because obviously population has grown. So there's different rates in history. Obviously, like, you're not going to have the same levels of immigration in the 1860s as you do in 2024. But there are other presidents who have had to deal with immigration. And by the way, Trump never signed an executive order to shut down the border, because he can't.
That's because it wasn't an issue like it has.
Really? Apprehensions doubled between 2018 and 2019.
Okay.
So if
border encounters went up. Border encounters went up every year under Trump's presidency. But what authority do you think the president has to issue an executive order to shut down the border?
There's a lot of things that I don't think he had the official authority to do, but he still did it.
So you wanted him to issue an executive order that was illegal?
Yeah, if it meant that our country was in a better spot, absolutely. Why wouldn't? That's what anybody would want.
The fuck?
So you want unconstitutional executive orders just because the president feels like it's necessary?
No, if it means that our country is safer, yes.
You're literally describing a dictatorship.
It wouldn't be for the benefit of the president. It would be the benefit of the American people.
So we have a constitution, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the constitution, there's checks and balances, right?
Of course.
In federal law right now, we have an obligation under 8 U.S.C. 1158 to accept asylum seekers.
Right, but that whole process was designed to be people to be vetted, not to be pushed down the road to 7 years from now or 3 years from now, where obviously they're not going to show up to a court date that's set years in advance. So
actually, 89% of them do show up. 83% of people who are representative, 94% of people who are represented.
You're basing that off of like prior data, not off of the recent
as
scenario.
Opposed to future data? I mean, what?
No.
This is through 2020. This is through September 2024.
I'm sorry.
This is through September 2024. This is the number.
But how can they even have that when most of these people's like court dates or whatever you would call it is set years in advance? You can't have data from that. These people.
We have the data for the people who have had court dates up through September 2024 and who have either showed up or not showed up. And overall, 87 to 89% of them, depending on where you are in the country, show up to their court dates.
How out of the millions of people that have came in the last few years, how many of them? Because like Harry just said, it's backlogged so much that people are getting court dates set years in advance.
That's true.
So how could you have 80% of the people when what percentage of people even had a court date yet?
This backlog has been going on since Trump administration. The backlog was 1 million asylum seekers during Trump's administration. It's 3.2 now. But we have the data for these courts are handling 20 to 50 cases a day in each of these courts across the country. So we have the data for the people who are showing up. But you do put an interesting, you think it's a problem, right? That having a backlog take 4 to 8 years, right? I think it's a problem.
I know you're going to
problem?
say that Trump shut down the bill that would have increased the courts and judges. I understand that.
Yeah, you're a very smart person. So the best way that we can address this, and it's twofold. One, we have these court dates faster, so we could figure out who does have a valid asylum claim and who doesn't, and we kick out the people who don't have valid asylum claims faster. 60% of the people at these hearings don't end up with a valid asylum claim, and they're deported. The faster we have the hearings, the faster we get people who don't have valid claims out of the country. But then the secondary fact of that is, during that 4 to 8 year period, they're earning money. They're getting into relationships. They may get married to an American citizen. They may have a kid here, which means that their kid is an American citizen. And now that they have a reason for expedited removal. That 4 to 8 year period is a huge draw for people to come in and try to enter the asylum process, because they know even at the end of the road, if they're declined, they've at least spent 4 to 8 years here earning money that they can send back home or take with them or whatever the case may be. If we shut it down to where they're having their hearings in 6 months to a year, that's going to be a natural disincentive for people to come and try, because the risk just isn't worth the reward at the end of the road.
Right, and I understand that most immigrants work and are law abiding and all that, but how many of them are even getting jobs that are on the books?
They are all asylum seekers are going to be getting jobs that are on the books, at least at the same rate that, you know, your local landscaper who works under the table or your general contractor who wants to be paid in cash is. Because if they are caught working and not paying taxes, that's a reason for their asylum claim to be denied. They're able to get a work permit within 150 days, after 150 days, and they do that because they don't want to get denied.
So out of all the people that have come in, how many are still being housed and fed and taken care of based off of like American taxpayer money? Like
how much federal dollars do you think asylum seekers get in support?
What do you mean, like individually or as a whole?
Yeah, how much money does an asylum seeker get from the federal government for support?
I don't know if that number could even really be like calculated, because it's just
$0. It can be very easily calculated. $0.
So what? Each state is taking care of all these people?
Correct. There are states that have these programs, but the vast majority of them live with family members or friends, and then they work and they pay their own way. They shop at the grocery store just like you do. They pay their rent just like you do.
I don't understand how that's even possible with, like, regardless, whether it's federal taxes or state taxes, it's still coming from American citizens.
That's a fair argument, but when we're talking about presidential policies, whatever the state is deciding to do with their taxpayer money has nothing to do with the president.
Right. I'm not even just talking about like the president. Obviously, that's like the topic at hand, but I mean, it's a burden and a whatever. Like it just, I don't know. Obviously, like you have all the numbers and laws and everything. I can only speak from like
feelings. I get it.
I'm sorry.
Feelings. I get it.
No,
I get it.
Not feelings. It's not just feelings. It's obvious to most people of what we see, even from like more liberal media. Like it's just an overwhelming issue to most people, and most people, including me, just feels like if 4 more years of it, even if like it's being tightened up now, like who's to say it's not just gonna, as soon as she gets elected, it's not just gonna revert back to the same thing. Like that's what we should expect, especially when she's questioned about literally anything. She just has no response that is worth the time to listen to it. Like, she just, oh no, dude, like,
Literally every time
like,
this question has come up, she's talked about passing the bipartisan border bill.
right.
And I'm not.
That's all she says.
And
she blames
I've got
all
good
the
friends.
Immigration.
Well, it's not about blaming Trump. It's about finding a solution. Right now, Trump. What's Trump's plan for the border? It's 3 words, right?
What? 3
Build
words?
the wall, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, but even Kamala supports that now.
But building the wall does nothing to address asylum claims. And that's our biggest issue with people being able to reside in the country legally. There are gotaways here. There's been about between 350,000 and 450,000 gotaways. But once they're encountered, they're deported. Our big issue here is that we have a lot of people here who are staying here in a pending status for a long period of time. And we need Congress to address that. It's not something that can be done via executive order.
Okay. Well, I mean, regardless of your perspective or the law's perspective on any of that, it still just like boils down to the fact that like there's so much going, and I'm obviously sidestepping from immigration, but just all the stuff that's going on around the world currently that with our allies, with our enemies, with whoever, like, I just don't think Kamala is prepared, especially Tim Walz. They're just not prepared to address that. Like, neither of them can even barely sit down in a friendly interview without completely breaking down. Like, they're more nervous than I am talking to you guys. Like, it doesn't even make sense. Like, I know, Harry, you're making that face because you think that Kamala in the Brett Baer interview did a good job. So I get it. Like, you're biased, just like I'm biased. But anybody with an objective point of view could say that Kamala is so far away from being ready to be president. Who knows? Maybe in 10 years she's better at it. But right now, currently, her and Tim Walz are just...
So just out of curiosity, like, what makes you think that Trump and JD Vance is qualified? Let's start with JD Vance in particular. You specifically brought up Tim Walz as VP. So what makes you think that JD Vance is qualified to be president?
Have you watched a single interview of his?
So just to be clear, JD Vance has only served in the Senate for like 2-ish
I know that.
years. He's never held an elected position before that.
I understand that. Have you watched a single interview of his?
Yeah, so he's certainly a smooth talker, but does a smooth talker mean you're qualified to be president?
No, not
okay.
Not necessarily.
So then why do I have to watch his interviews to see if he's qualified?
I think you say smooth talker to imply that like he's like full of shit when he talks.
Yes,
but,
exactly.
But that's, I mean, and I'm never gonna get like a unbiased, honest response from you regarding anything like that, which I understand. That's fine, but it's just clear. It's clear to anybody.
You keep saying it's clear. It's clear. It's clear. It's clear. It's like there's a whole lot of like pandering and meandering and rambling. It's like a Trump rally in here.
How he answers
you keep saying it. So like, just answer the question. What qualifications does JD Vance have to be president if in the event that Donald Trump can no longer fulfill the duties, which is not out of the question?
He's intelligent. He seems genuine to me when he talks, and he seems like he genuinely cares about
Really?
us.
So JD Vance seems genuine when he's asked at the VP debate if Trump lost the election and he wouldn't answer the question? That's genuine? He also got asked like a number of times after that in a New York Times interview podcast at different rallies he did where he took questions. He refused to answer the question. That's genuine?
I mean, it's obvious why he wouldn't answer the question, because whether he believes that Trump won or didn't win, either way, if he says that he believes that he won, then the Democrats are going to attack him. If he says that he didn't think he wins, then it's basically like he is not loyal to his boss.
Yeah, sure, exactly. So maybe if that's the predicament that the VP candidate is put in, maybe the ticket he's on should not be elected. If you are in a predicament when asked, did somebody lose an election? Maybe that's a sign that party is just not that great.
What about when they asked Kamala when she noticed when Biden started declining, and she said that she never did, and he's
Correct,
from the
yeah.
Oval Office to the Situation Room. It's the
Correct,
same
yeah.
concept.
Yes.
Huh?
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, exactly right. I mean, he had a neurology report put out this year in 2024. So doctors are saying he's okay, but this guy, you're saying obviously he's not.
Harry,
I'll side with the doctors
Can
that worked
you
at
answer
Walter Reed.
this question? When did you notice when Biden started declining?
There's no decline. He's perfectly fine.
This is my point.
Yeah, my point is that we have
You're
doctors
saying
reports
there's
saying
no
that he's
decline in Biden from
So we have
2000
doctors from Walter Reed.
2024.
We have doctors from Walter Reed who have said that he's
from
perfectly fine. They conducted a
2024.
neurological exam earlier on him this year in 2024.
And I get it.
So
I
just
understand.
but you obviously don't understand. So let me finish. So we have a neurology report published this year in the year of 2024. He was evaluated by a team of doctors from Walter Reed, as he's evaluated every single year. This report is public on whitehouse.gov. You can go read it. I'm sure you don't know that this report exists.
I do.
Obviously, but
I've
it's
heard
out there for you to go read.
reference it
Also, I'm
100
not done yet. I'm not done yet. World leaders have complimented President Biden on his sharpness and his ability. Republicans have complimented Joe Biden on his sharpness
No,
and
dude.
ability. And I've
Republicans?
stood in front of
Liz
Kevin
Cheney?
McCarthy.
Who?
Who? Kevin
I
McCarthy.
didn't hear what you said.
Kevin McCarthy.
Obviously, I know Kevin McCarthy is.
You know
when
who
did he
Kev-
say
good.
that?
Yeah.
did
So
he say
when
that?
they were negotiating over the debt ceiling, he said that President Biden is sharp and a tough negotiator.
What year was that?
2023 or 2.
Oh, well, then Kevin McCarthy is a goofball.
Oh, he's a rhino. Oh, okay. Yeah, exactly. If Kevin McCarthy says something
I've
that's
never
contradictory
liked
to you,
Kevin McCarthy.
Representative Anna Paulina Luna, current MAGA Republican in Congress, who's serving in a district that was badly hit by the hurricanes. She has been very critical of President Biden over the recent years. She's a massive Trump supporter, but she recently talked about how attentive President Biden was to her needs and her district's needs when it came to the hurricane. She said he was there immediately. Whatever they needed, he picked up the phone whenever they needed him.
Just the fact that you're saying all this says plenty.
You're asking for examples of Republicans saying that President Biden is good to go. And so when you ask for examples and I provide you examples and you still have to pivot to something else and say, well,
I'm
you're
not
providing the
pivoting.
examples
It's
I
not
asked for.
even-
It must be indicative of something bad.
Just that you're debating the topic.
You brought it up.
Plenty.
You brought it up.
No, I understand that. I asked you a question and you
Yeah,
can't
and
even
you asked
admit.
for examples of Republicans saying that Biden is
even-
sharp. And then when I bring up examples, you're like, well, why that? Well, the fact you even have to bring up examples. Like, what?
All you need to do is use your eyes and ears.
Yeah, so when I use my eyes, I read the neurology report that was published this year. And when I use my ears, I listen to
You look
President
at
Biden speak,
Biden.
which you obviously don't do, and he's great.
If you look at Biden in 2008, forget about the neurology report. In 2008
Yeah.
compared to 2024,
Yeah.
you don't think there's a decline.
Yeah, and if you look at me in 2008 and me in 2024, you see a big difference. If you look at
That's
Law of the
because
Wild in
you were
2008
10 years
and him
old
in
in
2024, there's a big
2008.
goddamn difference. If you look at you in
You were a
2008 and
child.
you in 2024, you look a lot different. Yeah, aging, breaking news, people
So
age, they look
when
different
Biden
over
was
time.
looking-
This is not
when
groundbreaking
Biden-
stuff that we're discovering here.
When Biden was looking for a deceased senator, you didn't find that alarming?
Wait, so when Donald Trump was talking about a dead musician endorsing him who didn't, he said that she voted for her, he didn't?
Oh, a mistake? That's completely different. It's not even close to the
All
same
right.
thing.
So when Donald Trump is talking about somebody that's dead voting for him, that's a mistake. But when President Biden makes a similar one,
was looking
that's a
around the
decline.
room for
Spare
her.
me. What about Donald Trump not even being able to identify his own ex-wife in a photo?
What about it?
What do you think about that? Do you think that might be a little bit concerning?
No.
No. Okay. What about Donald Trump's rants about Hannibal Lecter? You know what he means when he talks about Hannibal Lecter? Can you tell us?
No. What does he mean?
No, you don't know what he means. What about when Donald Trump said we're going into
Why don't you
World
tell
War
me what he
II?
means?
What about when Donald Trump said we were going into World War II, which took place like 80, 90 years ago?
Obviously, he meant World War III.
Oh, so it's just another mistake. Oh, okay. It's another. And what about when he said that Obama is still president?
What?
Yeah, exactly. What? Yeah, what?
No,
What about that?
just saying stuff like that doesn't even, it's not even comparable to what we're talking about.
Oh, so here's the hypocrisy that you have to recognize within
No,
yourself, which
I
is when
can-
Donald Trump
I
makes a
can say
mistake,
that,
quote
though.
unquote,
I
then
can
you just
say-
chalk it up to a mistake. Then you say there's no problem. Come on, it's just a
No,
mistake. But when
I
Joe
can
Biden
say
makes
that.
a mistake, even if it's similar to Donald Trump's mistakes,
It's
you say,
not
well, there's
even close
cognitive
to
decline.
similar.
You look at Donald Trump in
Obviously,
2008 and you look at him now. He's rambling about Hannibal Lecter now. In 2008
I
he
have
wasn't,
no
but you don't say,
problem
oh, you know.
acknowledging. I have no problem acknowledging that Trump is not as sharp as he was 20
Would you say he's
years
declining?
ago. In some ways, yeah.
Okay, so you're voting for somebody you openly acknowledge is declining.
When he's the hands down better candidate, absolutely.
I don't think you've articulated how you think he's the better candidate yet.
We have 4 years of him and all the examples that point to that, and then we have 4 years of Kamala's administration.
So can you name
And
me
all
5
the-
things that Donald Trump got passed through Congress when he was president?
5 things that he got passed through Congress. The First Step Act. What else? Off the top of my head, I mean, obviously, there's things that I know that it's just not coming to my head right now.
So it can't be
Under
that great,
pressure,
right?
I don't do this all day, every day.
Well, you're saying
but
that one candidate is objectively better. So I'm just like,
it is. It's. I mean,
in what way? You don't know what he's done.
in
You don't know what he
every
accomplished.
way.
You know what policy got passed. It's like sounds kind of like you don't know what you're
Just look
talking
at
about.
our
You might just be a
country.
partisan hack.
just look. No, I'm. Trust me. I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. I don't even like Trump. To be perfectly honest, I just agree with his views a lot more than I agree with Kamala's.
What view is that? That, you know, we need to defund the FBI and complete clean house at the Department of Justice, that the president should
if
have more
any-
power when it comes
any-
to the Federal Reserve, just getting kind of rid of it, or maybe the president should have the ability and the vice president should have the ability to overturn elections they don't like. I mean, what exactly are you more aligned with on Donald Trump?
Just his beliefs and what he wants to do with our country, and how he puts America before other countries. He
really put
doesn't
America
let
before other countries when he sent. Yeah, he really put America before other countries when he sent Putin COVID-19 tests during the height of the pandemic. Right, instead of giving those tests to the American people, he decided to give them to Vladimir Putin. Right? He also really put America first and thought about the country first when he said that he trusts Putin more than our own intelligence community. Right? He also really put America first when he stole classified documents.
Look at what the intelligence community did to him all 4 years.
Geez, see, you're about to go down like a conspiracy theory route that you think the intelligence community has sabotaged Donald Trump.
Yes, certain people in the intelligence community, absolutely.
In what way did the intelligence community sabotage Donald Trump?
When, what was it, like 50 something intelligence members signed off saying that the laptop wasn't real, and which caused it to not be allowed.
Not what they said. It's not what they said. But
okay, what happened then?
I think you wanted to say something, right? Or
Go ahead.
No, I mean, it was 52 former intelligence officials that said that the laptop had all of the earmarks of Russian disinformation, but they were also going through to clarify that they have no way to confirm or deny that, but that the story has the air that Russian disinformation puts out there. They never came to a definitive conclusion.
So what about when the FBI was meeting with Mark Zuckerberg and telling him that that you can't allow anybody to talk about any of it?
What?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
You didn't know that happened?
That
I
didn't
know
happen.
of something.
You didn't. It did. Mark Zuckerberg on a Joe Rogan interview said it himself. What do you mean? What?
It's not what
You don't believe Mark Zuckerberg about his own company?
It's not what Mark Zuckerberg said. So there are instances of which the federal government, or the FBI, I should say, reaches out to certain social media companies to warn them of things they have intelligence on, like bots, for example, trying to influence elections, or if somebody, JW, thank you for the diamonds, man, I appreciate you. Or if somebody's putting out misinformation with the intent of dividing the country, the FBI will reach out to these social media companies and let them know it's happening, but there's never a demand to take it down.
Why did Mark Zuckerberg say that then?
Mark Zuckerberg did not say that there was a demand to take it down.
Yeah, they said they pressured him into taking stuff down. Yes, he did.
He did not. I mean, there's never any demand to take anything down from the FBI.
Then why did Mark Zuckerberg say that? Why would
I
he
think
lie
you're
about his own
misciting Mark
company?
Zuckerberg, my man.
Huh?
You're misciting Mark Zuckerberg.
That was the gist of what he was saying.
Okay, well, the gist of what somebody's saying and what somebody actually says are two different things.
I mean, you can interpret context pretty easily. That's absolutely what he was saying. I know that doesn't fit what you believe, but that is what he was saying.
You're trying to find a narrative or something that you hope that he said, but he didn't.
We
all
all know that that's what happened. If you even mentioned,
where are you getting this from? Because Mark Zuckerberg didn't say that, so now you're just trying to hope that he said that. Now you're trying to dig for something, any inkling of him saying that.
He said it himself.
He did not say that. You just said that that's the gist of what he said, and now you're saying he said it. It's like pick a lane, man.
How else do you interpret what he said?
Exactly how he said it. He said that the FBI reached out to him about certain things surrounding the 2020 election or whatever he's talking about. Maybe it was COVID in particular, that there was a lot of misinformation spread by bad actors. A lot of these actors are not American citizens and they're not Americans. They're trying to sow further division in the United States. And the FBI warned social media companies of this stuff. By the way, a lot of this stuff took place under Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is Donald Trump trying to silence Americans and pressure Mark Zuckerberg?
No, he didn't have control over the FBI. Obviously, they were
really
because
it's really okay. The FBI is against Donald Trump now.
Why wouldn't they allow people to talk about
just to be clear? Trump appointed. Trump the FBI did not stop anybody from talking about the laptop. And also, just to be clear, the current FBI director is a man by the name of Christopher Wray, who was appointed by Donald Trump.
Yeah, and what has he had to say about the whole thing?
What does Christopher Wray had to say about the laptop?
Right. He hates Trump just like the rest of them.
Christopher Wray's a Republican, my man. We've never had a Democratic head of the FBI. How do you know that he doesn't like Trump?
I'm going to need a citation on that one.
Yeah.
What? Him not liking Trump? Just the fact that he allowed the FBI to pressure social media companies and Twitter and Google and everything else. Why would they all be in alliance to do the same exact thing?
What?
You can call it a conspiracy.
Yeah, I have no idea.
What do you mean? You don't remember the 2020 election?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you keep saying the FBI. Now, I know of some of the allegations that have been made about influence on social media companies. You're the first person I've ever heard say that they're coming from the FBI.
That's what Mark Zuckerberg said.
I don't know that to be true.
Yeah,
it's 100% true. You could look up the interview and watch it yourself.
It's not what Mark Zuckerberg said.
I know that's what you want to keep saying because it doesn't fit. But obviously,
not that it doesn't fit. Well, please provide a citation then. Provide a citation of Mark Zuckerberg saying that the FBI pressured him to take stuff down.
What's that?
Provide a citation, please, that Mark Zuckerberg said that the FBI pressured him to take things down.
Well, I would have to X out of this and
you can swipe up. Swipe up quickly.
All right.
What a time to be alive.
Yeah, it's quite the rabbit hole with Trump supporters.
I did find the episode. I'm looking for a transcript for it right now. Everybody, while we're waiting, we've got 2.1 thousand people in here. Harry's only sitting at 200,000 likes. That's like only 100 likes per person. I find that. Oh, did he go away? Oh,
we're actually going to restart the live anyway because I got a age restriction.
Oh, of course you did.
Yeah. So we'll be back in just a second, everybody.
Check you later, man. Take care.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. We'll be back in literally just a second, everybody. We got an age restriction a while ago, so we've been waiting to restart it until the conversation ended, but we'll be back in just a second. This stuff happens. You know how it goes. So I'll be right back. Uno minuto. We'll be back in 1 second, all right? Just if you're trying to come up and debate, if you're the first one in the box or first one typing MAGA, maybe we'll get you up here and you'll be the first person to debate in the next conversation. All right? Sounds good? All right, everybody. I'll be back in just 1 second. Hi, everybody. We're back. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Hi, everybody. We're back. Sorry about that. Sorry about that interruption, that brief interruption, but we're back here. I hope everyone is doing well since the last time we spoke. Once again, if you're just getting the live, make sure to run up the likes, double tap the screen, tap away. Try to fill that entire bar. When it comes up with likes, it helps boost the live, send it out to more people. Let's try to get to 100,000 likes super quickly. Also spam those shares down there. Run up those shares. That also helps boost the live. Drop a follow if you haven't already, and all of that good stuff. And also, of course, as all of you know, Venmo Cash App in the link in the bio if you want to support the live. But so we're going to be talking to some MAGA Republicans, of course, if you were just in the live before. Unfortunately, we had an age restriction, so it is what it is. But we're back, and we're here, and we're ready. So if you are MAGA, let me know in the chat or request up in the box, and we'll go. Caitlin says you killed it on Steiny. Thank you, Caitlin. I appreciate that. If you are MAGA, let me know. I'll bring you up, and we can talk, and you can tell me how on earth, how it's possible, why, in what reality are you MAGA? In what reality are you MAGA? Makes no sense. All right, let's see here. I think this guy is a troll, but we'll bring him up anyway, and we'll find out decently quickly if he is. Hello? How old are you?
24.
All right, why are you MAGA?
Because Donald Trump is objectively more qualified than Kamala Harris.
Okay, how so?
Well, Donald Trump was the president for 4 years before, and Kamala Harris was not.
So what about Kamala Harris being a district attorney, an attorney general, senator, vice president, all that stuff?
Well,
you don't think that makes her qualified to be president?
That would be because you get hired based on job experience.
She didn't get hired to any of those roles. She was elected.
Well, that's your problem. We're not treating her like she needs to be hired.
What? Do you not think that somebody works their way up to the presidency, or at least should work their way up to the presidency?
She hasn't worked her way up to anything. She's stumbled upwards. She's fallen upwards into every.
So she's been elected by people up into higher and more powerful positions. I don't know how you could call that stumbling.
She's fallen into these positions.
How so? She's been elected in all of these positions.
Oh man, I really didn't want to get into her history, but I guess we have to.
You brought up experience.
Started with Bobby, right? She only got that position because, well, they had a relationship.
Can you just respond to the positions I've talked about? District attorney, attorney general, senator, vice president?
Yeah,
she's been elected
she
to all of
got
these
up
positions.
to that position from getting to the first position.
She was elected to all of these positions. People voted for her to be in these positions.
The first position was a certain type of position, but I'm not allowed to say that on TikTok. The second,
are you just going to be like a straight up misogynist now?
No. The second position was the one that Bobby elected her to, and now since then she's gotten to every other position that she's not qualified for. But that's besides the point, because it doesn't matter.
How is she not qualified to be district attorney of San Francisco? Yeah. Yeah.
So do you agree with Kamala's gun ownership, though?
Do I agree with her gun ownership?
Yeah, I mean, like
her owning a gun.
I mean, here we have.
Yeah, by the way, are you just not going to answer the question regarding her not being qualified to be district attorney?
Because honestly, my main point was that if you're.
Well, I don't really care. I'll pause you right there. I don't really care what you're going to say. Your main point was you made a point, and I asked you a question. Are you just not going to respond to that? You can say I don't know.
I believe she wasn't qualified for that position because to get to that position, she had to get to the other position.
Which she did.
Because of Bobby.
She worked hard in these positions and then ran democratically and got elected by people, voters.
But she was appointed because of a relationship. Does that not seem corrupt to you?
She was not appointed district attorney of San Francisco because of a relationship. She was elected district attorney of San Francisco.
She wasn't put into any positions of power. There's no advantageous.
She was not She was not put in as district attorney. You cannot be put in as district attorney.
There's no advantage to having one of the most powerful people in your state be in a relationship.
So, just to be clear, she was not put in as district attorney. And again, my question was, why do you think she wasn't qualified to be district attorney of San Francisco?
Because she relied on the first.
You're not even speaking to qualifications now, right? You have no idea what you're talking about. It's fine. It would be better for you to just say you don't know.
I'll concede that she may have been qualified for the district attorney position, but whether or not her relationship with that man put her into positions of power.
There was no relationship that put her in a position of power. She was put in, and she got elected to positions of power because of who she is and how qualified she was.
You don't know that.
Can you talk to me about Donald Trump's qualifications? What makes him qualified?
Being president of the United States.
Yeah. So if you're like a really shitty CEO of a company, does that now make you suddenly qualified to be CEO?
Yes, it makes you much more qualified.
Really? Like if you have if you get elected as CEO or you get put in as a CEO,
it makes you much more qualified than somebody
and you were terrible, and you were terrible at being CEO. Like you have no idea what you're doing. You don't know the first thing about being a CEO. That suddenly makes you, just because you held the role in the title, that makes you qualified to be a CEO of a major company?
Yes, because the company did fall
so
apart.
let me ask you this.
So, wait,
hold on. I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. Sorry. Let's just say you were running a major company and your CEO position was open.
Let's say the next CEO.
Let's say the next CEO has. I really don't care what you have to say. Let's just say you're running a major company and your CEO position is open. And let's say you have two candidates. One candidate worked their way up the corporate ladder for 20 years. They went from an employee to marketing to executive to CFO, and now they're applying to be your new CEO. They've been in the corporate world for 20 years. And then on the other hand, you have a CEO who in 4 years bankrupted their company. And ran the company really poorly. Who would you hire to be your CEO in that instance?
I would hire the person who didn't drive the company into the ground, unlike Joe Biden and Kamala Harris,
so you would elect the CEO who had worked their way. They are
unanimous together. Joe Biden himself.
So wait, just to be clear, in that instance, you would hire the CEO who worked their way up the corporate.
Kamala cannot separate herself from his administration.
So are you going to answer the question now? Are you going to answer the question now?
Said there's not a thing that comes to mind when asked if she would have done anything differently under Joe Biden's administration.
First of all, we'll talk about that in a second, and I'll tell you. Okay, I'm going to
nosedive the entire company.
You got it. We'll talk about that in a second and why her saying that is actually a good thing. But can you answer the question I just posed to you? You have somebody who's applying to be your CEO, and they've worked their way up the corporate ladder, going from different positions, and they've done really well at all of these positions. Or would you rather hire somebody who was CEO of a major company, but they crashed the company in 4 years? Who would you hire to be your CEO? Or who do you think is more qualified to be your CEO?
The person that crashed the company in 4 years was Biden and Kamala Harris.
Wait. Just answer the question. I'm not even filling in any names right now. You're filling in names of a hypothetical of which I'm not even filling in the names. Can you answer the question?
No, this is just some stupid carnival trick. If you don't know,
there's no carnival trick. It's just a simple question. Who would you rather hire?
You're just doing a carnival trick.
Who would you rather hire?
You're smiling because you know you're.
Who would you rather hire?
You know that
you can't answer. See, here's the thing: when you can't answer the question, we both can recognize that via your non-answer, you know that your point is really terrible. It's a really garbage point because you can't even answer your own question.
You pedaled for Biden. You lost,
and I still pedal for Biden.
You think that Biden is completely
Wait. I'm sorry. I'm not moving off of this question. So either you answer the question or I can find somebody else to talk to. But if you're not going to engage, then I just, it's like impossible to have a conversation. If you're just going to keep going from topic to topic, then I'm not going to be able to engage with you. So answer my question. Who would you rather? Can you stop talking, please? I promise nobody needs to hear you speak this much. So in my hypothetical, given the qualified person who worked their way up the corporate ladder versus the person who crashed their company in 4 years, who do you think is more qualified to be CEO?
The person who didn't crash the company in 4 years.
So the person who worked their way up the corporate ladder, you'd say, right?
Nope.
What do you mean? So just to be clear, you have a hypothetical of somebody who wants to be your CEO, qualified, they've worked in the corporate world for 20 plus years, they've worked their way up the corporate ladder, or somebody who crashed their company in 4 years, and you have a CEO position open. It's between these two people. Who do you hire? Between these two people.
You're describing the same person.
It's not. I'm not naming any names, by the way.
Describing the same.
I'm not naming any names. Okay, I'm just asking you a simple question, which you apparently can't answer. This is like you said. Apparently, this is like a 2 + 2 = 4 question, and apparently you think it's like quantum physics.
No, I don't. Why do I need to answer two?
Because it's a hypothetical that tests your logic. You're saying that just because somebody held a role, that means they're qualified to be in that role again. And I'm saying that's stupid. That's really stupid.
So actually, to test my logic, the test would be: do I accept the proposition of two questions or of two examples? The test of my logic is to see whether I accept that or not, because the error in logic to begin with is that those two examples are accurate.
I'm not. By the way,
So if
I'm
you
just
wanna talk
asking you a
about testing
simple
logic,
question. I'm just asking you a
answer
simple
to
question
the
that tests.
test
Can
is
you be
to say
quiet?
that
I'm
both
asking you a
of your
simple question that
propositions are
tests the
bullshit.
heart of your logic. Your logic is Donald Trump is qualified to be president because he was president once. And I'm saying that if you put this into any other hypothetical, such as somebody crashes their company as CEO, would you hire them again to be CEO? You'd obviously say no. If you're a logical, rational person who wants to engage in conversation, you would say no, I wouldn't, regardless of them holding a position of CEO again. So why is president? Because you're not being rational. You're not engaging in good faith. So I'll just answer the question for you: is that you would vote for somebody who worked their way up the corporate ladder, not somebody who crushed their company in 4 years. So apply that to the presidency. Why would you then vote for Donald Trump, who crashed the economy, crashed the country in 4 years, did a lot of shitty things, versus somebody who has worked their way up the ladder in politics?
Talking over
and is
someone
far more
doesn't make you
qualified to be
win.
I'm not talking over you. You're
Yes, you
interrupting
are.
me right now. Okay. You're good. I'm gonna hit you with a mute right now, and I don't like doing that, but I'm gonna have to do it anyway because you just won't shut the fuck up. So in any logical scenario, in any rational person, you'd say, yeah, I'm gonna hire the qualified person who's worked their way up the corporate ladder, not the CEO who crashed their former company. And that's the same with the presidency. Vice President Kamala Harris has worked her way up the political ladder. He's held a number of different positions. She's very qualified. Versus Donald Trump, who was president once. He was president for 4 years and was fired from that role by the American people. And during that time, he mishandled a pandemic. He didn't do anything. He didn't pass any major policy. He tried to overturn an election. He didn't win. The United States got attacked by Iran. I mean, the list goes on. So now you can answer because I actually was able to get my question out and my response out without you yapping. Now go.
Who's really yapping here?
You keep interrupting me. So the more you interrupt me, the longer it is for me to get out my answer or my question.
Good Lord, this isn't even a debate. But anyways,
go for it, man. You got it. If
you have a
just
very
crying, you maybe answer the question.
Correct premise to begin with here, which is what your entire argument is based off of. And the premise, which is wrong, is that Donald Trump, aka the metaphor of the CEO, or the CEO in your metaphor.
No, this is so fucking stupid. This is incredibly painful. No, I'm actually not going to listen to you because you're missaying my argument.
Company.
This is a complete straw man, right?
No, it's not.
I'm not even debating.
Not.
No, it absolutely is. If you listen for 1 second,
right
I'm not debating you on whether Joe Biden or Kamala Harris or Donald Trump should be president. I'm just simply attacking the logic that you put forward.
You're actually losing this right now.
Great. So I'm simply attacking the logic that you put forward, which was that simply because Donald Trump was president, he is more qualified to be president again because he held that role. And I'm saying that's not always the case. Just because somebody held a role once doesn't mean that they're now qualified to hold that role again. And I'm saying that Kamala Harris is more qualified, regardless of being president or not, to be president again. And Donald Trump is not. Obviously, because he was president once, and just because he was president doesn't mean he was qualified. I'm not even talking about what they've done or anything like that. I'm just asking you a simple question. Now, can you respond to the actual hypothetical I provided you, not one that you're trying to compare to Kamala Harris and Donald Trump? Respond to the actual hypothetical. Oh my God, you have an echo. Swipe up out of the app. See, if you would stop trying to... You have an echo. Swipe up out of the app.
There's an echo.
Swipe up out of the app. You have to swipe up. There you go. Okay. Come back. There you go. Now actually engage with the hypothetical I provided you.
So the premise that you're basing this off of is that the CEO
you're already wrong.
Crashed the company. That's what you said, right?
Yeah, but just so don't even mention Trump or Kamala Harris. I'm simply attacking this. It's taking way too long for us to get through this. You said that simply because Donald Trump was president, he's more qualified to be president. Now, go.
I know who you're saying each person is.
No, I'm not filling the gaps. I'm not saying any names. This is so painful.
Because I'm not following
your simple logic was that Trump is more qualified to be president because he was president and Kamala Harris was not president, which means she's not as qualified. And I'm saying to you that is not always the case. Don't even think about the politics right now and engage with the hypothetical of somebody working their way up the corporate ladder.
Yes, just do what I do and blindly accept everything I hear. Don't think.
What are you talking about?
You're literally telling me not to think and just accept what you say.
I'm giving you a hypothetical. So can you answer the hypothetical of which I provided with you?
Okay. I would rather choose the person that worked their way up.
Okay. Why did it take you so long? So would you acknowledge that your logic of just because somebody held a role once doesn't inherently mean that they're qualified to hold that role again?
conditionally based on their performance of being the CEO before.
Well, okay, just to be clear, you didn't even bring up Trump's performance. You came to this conversation saying simply Donald Trump is qualified to be president and more qualified to be president because he was president once. You didn't name anything that Donald Trump did, any of his qualifications in terms of policy he advocates for. You just simply said because he held the role. And now we've gotten through this very, very tedious, annoying back and forth that took you about 10 years to get through to acknowledge that your logic is bad. Now we can actually get into the thick of things. Why do you support Donald Trump? Why do you think that he was a better president or would be better in the future?
Okay, well, like I said, well, sure, maybe you had a CEO. Well, let's use the metaphor. Let's say you had a CEO that absolutely ran the country into the ground. That would be a good reason to replace them with someone who maybe, well, first of all, you would replace them with somebody who was a CEO before. But if you didn't have that option, you would replace them with somebody who looked like they were competent. Kamala is neither competent or has been a president before, but that's just one part of the premise. The other part of the premise of this metaphor is that Trump did not run the country into the ground, but the Biden-Harris campaign did. And everybody can agree on that. That's not...
Okay, how did they run into the ground?
Bad policy decisions.
Like what?
Any policy decision that put woke identity.
Just let's just skip all the nonsense. Just name one.
Can you name one? Just name one.
Please.
Canceling the Remain in Mexico policy was a bad one.
Okay, how is that a bad policy?
I mean, they even agreed that it was a bad policy.
No, they haven't. But also, how is it a bad policy?
Yeah, actually, Kamala in the latest CNN town hall said would not tell anybody that she was. They let her know.
You got it, Jan.
You got it. Go ahead. You got it. It's okay. You got it.
She's going to pass a bill for the border wall that would allocate $50 million of taxpayer money to the border wall, just like Trump.
So just to be clear, the border wall is not Remain in Mexico. I don't know if you know that those are two separate things.
Yeah, but you know what's interesting is she keeps switching up.
Did you know that?
Basically, she keeps switching up and basically admitting that these policies that.
So by the way, you're going off the rails, buddy. You said woke policy that they've implemented. So where has this woke policy been implemented? What bad policy decisions are you citing?
Can I just finish my thought quick? In the CNN hall,
Jesus Christ.
They said that they told Kamala, hey, yo, dude, it's making me hard to focus when you make that face, bro. I'm not even gonna lie.
Dude, can you just
bro, can you get
name a policy? You said you were gonna name a policy. Just fucking, you said Remain in Mexico.
Okay,
now just explain it. Just explain the policy. Explain why you think it was bad.
All right, well, okay, let's start. Yeah, you're right. Let me explain that. I don't know why you want me to explain this, but
because
it's woke.
Hold on. Just pause.
Remain in Mexico.
Pause for 1 second. You can't listen. You can't come in and be like, every policy ever, the Biden-Harris administration destroyed everything. And we're like, okay, name one. And you're like literally struggling to name a single one. So yes, you do have to name just one.
I said Remain in Mexico pretty quickly.
Okay, so now we're going to ask like what? We're going to obviously disagree. And I'm going to cook you on the facts of Remain in Mexico, but you first have to give me.
Okay, Squidward, got it. Yeah,
so you're going to explain to me the disinformation that you have around Remain in Mexico.
I don't even see the resemblance there. That was really weak, by the way. You could have probably done better than that.
You know, that Jubilee thing was pretty weak too, but that's okay.
What Jubilee thing?
Your friend Parker.
Is Park? What are you talking about right now? what are you talking about?
The worst.
What?
I just really hate Dean, dude. So I don't care.
Okay, bro. Listen, tell us what Remain in Mexico did.
Yeah, can you actually like focus on one topic at a time and like try to not pivot to something else? Can you just like focus up, please? We're trying to have a conversation here. And if you're unable to have that conversation, which so far,
yo, dude,
we'll just we'll move on to find somebody else.
You're the one, bro. You're the one changing the topic.
Can you tell it? We're not. We've been trying to stay on topic this entire time. So can you tell us how getting rid of Remain in Mexico, which by the way was a good thing, is woke, and how Remain in Mexico is good? Can you tell us about that?
Remain in Mexico basically takes away motivation to enter a country illegally, because if you're caught, crossing the border or caught with illegal immigration status, then you will be sent to wait for your court date in Mexico instead of wandering around the country freely.
So how many people like under the Trump administration like got sent back to Mexico? Like how many people qualify for this policy?
I'm not Google, man.
Well, it's like really important because like
we know
only 60,000 total people over 4 years actually got sent back. And part of the reason we got rid of it is because we have evidence that at least a dozen of those people were raped, murdered, trafficked, killed. But like, again, like this idea that you say it creates an incentive.
Our children now.
Yeah, so can I finish speaking before you pivot? Appreciate you. So this idea of like this incentive to not come to the country doesn't really exist because it's like it's an incredibly niche policy. Like most people do not meet the requirements to be, quote, sent back to Mexico. Yeah. I mean, we can like do the math of like how many people came into the country under Trump. Like we're talking about less than math. It's got to be less than like millions. It's less than 1%.
You know, I also think
know that, did you, though?
I think having a strong border wall. I'm here to be educated as well.
Oh my fucking god!
Fuck off!
I'm just kidding.
My
I'm just
god!
kidding.
It's always so fun, man. Incessantly
I'm
annoying.
just kidding.
Incessantly annoying for 25 minutes, and then when you get like you can't name a single policy, you get cooked on the first argument. You're like, oh, I'm just here to learn, guys. Don't be mean, bro. All right, bro.
You be all right, bro.
No.
Right.
Listen. Kamala supports guns. She said she owns a gun.
What the? What the hell are you talking about?
You guys don't even recognize your own Democrat anymore.
Focus on immigration, my man.
We already settled this immigration.
We did not. No, we didn't.
You didn't respond to anything. Are you just accepting the L? You just accept that you were wrong.
No. It's like, well, maybe Remain in Mexico wasn't as many people as I thought.
Okay, so how about then let's go back. So let's remove Remain in Mexico. You said the original claim was the Biden-Harris administration destroyed this country. And we said, can you like via their policies? And we said, what policies? And you said pretty much all of them or any of them, some version of that. So now that it's not Remain in Mexico, can you name another one?
Their economic spending really put this country in unbelievable amounts of inflation, and their poor foreign policy and honestly weak foreign policy has caused us to enter two major wars, one of which is something Kamala won't even take a stance on.
Okay, so if
Biden were to take a stance on, I doubt Kamala will.
I think people find economics incredibly boring, so I'm going to like touch on this for a second, and we can move to like foreign policy. There's no economic data to support what you just said, that like government spending was the cause of inflation. I don't know if you have.
So what was the cause of inflation then?
Yeah, sure. Supply and demand issues. Also, in terms of like actual,
he doesn't know what that is, Chris.
No, he doesn't. But in terms of like actual, and hold on. In terms of spending and increasing our deficit, like Trump far outpaces the Biden-Harris administration. But again, like this idea that like you think that like a bunch of money was printed and it caused inflation is laughable. Like unless you have data to support that, we can move on.
Well, you know what? There is an effect of 6 to 11 million people entering your country within 3 years.
Yeah, so that also doesn't.
Also have an effect on markets.
Yeah, so that also doesn't cause inflation. In fact, if you knew like anything about the economy, you know that like we have a issue with like a aging workforce. So right now, there's actually not enough native-born Americans to work every single job. So the immigration that we've seen over the last 3 years has been like a lot of the reason that we have the fastest growing GDP in the entire world for 2 years in a row. And we have like our stock market is ripping and our unemployment is low. And so like this idea that like the immigrant should leave, it costs taxpayers like tons and tons of money. In fact, Bloomberg did a really good economic report on this where it showed that like it would decrease our GDP by 9% over like his economic plans in total, including this mass deportation, would cost American taxpayers like tons of money and significantly lower our GDP.
Chris, I have a question.
No.
Do you know how many people 6 to 11 million people is? Do you have any concept of how, like,
yeah, so again, like, so facts over feelings. So please explain how this has anything to do with the economy or inflation.
Because supply and demand, there's a limited supply of housing. There's a limited supply of everything.
Okay, so, right, so obviously, like...
Wait, Chris, let me just get something, let me communicate something quickly. How many McDonald's do you think there are in the United States?
I have no idea.
Like, just give a guess.
I don't know, dude. I don't know.
You see a McDonald's everywhere. I mean, like you can go like 2 miles.
Nobody fucking knows. Just
can
go.
You just get to the point.
Oh my
There's
God.
13,449 McDonald's in the United States.
Why the fuck do you know that?
Because there are McDonald's everywhere. And there's only
that doesn't explain why you know that.
United States.
Okay, so what's your point?
Wait. They're constantly making McDonald's. You see more McDonald's getting made than apartment complexes.
Okay, dude, what is your point?
When 6 to 11 million people enter your country in 3 years, you don't have enough time to build 5 million new housing.
So maybe you want to elect a candidate who wants to build like millions of new houses?
You don't.
That is the dumbest.
This is the housing market.
Just a question.
First of all, it's really stupid.
I'm gonna let Harry speak.
Is that really stupid though?
No. Can I ask a
Yes.
question? How many people? How many people are? You know how many McDonald's there are? Now? How many people are in America? What's the population of America?
300 million.
Yeah, it's more like 300.
It's more now.
But okay. But I'm just saying, like this idea that like 6 million people would have a massive effect on inflation.
No, because you're also thinking of the non-continental United States, which makes up for a decent amount of the population.
Okay. So again, like I think that like in context of the fact that like we're really struggling to have enough Americans to work every single job, the positive effects from like this massive immigration has far outweighed any negative effects. And that's been shown over and over and over again by like the monthly job reports and by economists who say that like the entire reason the U.S. economy is the strongest in the world, it's being like solely held up by like immigrants, whether documented or undocumented.
Dude, how do you think they're going to build houses when like California? Do you know how many? Do you know how many apartment complex? Wait, no. Do you know how many buildings? Period. Were allowed due to
the worst
zoning
conversation we've ever had. So would you want? Maybe you want to elect the candidate. Maybe you want to elect the candidate who has a plan to build more houses, right? Maybe
the
that's
zoning laws. Trump wants to deregulate. Trump wants to deregulate corporations.
So I just can you answer my question? Wouldn't you want to vote for the candidate who actually has a policy when it comes to building houses?
The problem is with the zoning laws in both the state and
so Joe Biden and Kamala Harris both agree that we have to get rid of certain zoning laws, and certain states have really bad zoning laws, like California. But that's not federal law. That's not federal law. Now, wouldn't you want to vote for the candidate? Wouldn't you want to vote for the candidate who has a plan to build 3 million new housing units?
What have they done in 3.5 years?
I'm asking you a question. Wouldn't you want to vote for the candidate who wants to build 3 million new housing units?
It's all empty lies, hot air, platitudes.
Oh, wait. Did you say what have they done in 3.5 years?
Did Mexico pay? Did Mexico pay for the wall?
Make more houses get built.
Did Mexico pay for the wall?
What have they done against BlackRock buying up all
Mexico?
houses?
The Democrats tried to. The Democrats tried to introduce a bill. The Democrats tried to introduce a bill to block big companies from buying up houses, and the Republicans blocked it. Fun fact. Numbnuts. Now, did Mexico pay for the wall?
I don't know.
You don't? Okay. The answer is no. They didn't pay for it. Did the wall get built?
That was a marketing phrase.
Oh. So when he's what kind of a
he only had a
what kind of a marketing phrase is that?
He built something.
So wait. When Donald Trump says something and doesn't do it, it's a marketing phrase.
His concept of the plan was that they were going to pay for it, but no.
You be good one, bro. You be good. No,
you have a good one, bro.
Hey, you be safe, bro. You be safe.
You be all right. You
be good, bro. Yo, Harry, did you fix your CMG account, dude?
No. Daisy, thank you for the $2 saying, voted early today, excited to watch tonight. I appreciate you, Daisy. Thank you so much for being here. Venmo Cash App in the link in the bio if you want to support the live. Yeah, that guy can he can head on out. Yep, he's good, bro. Head on out.
And you didn't fix your CMG account?
No, bro, because I haven't set it up using your goddamn
You're
email
a goddamn disgrace.
Shut the hell up. I don't like you. Grace, Dr. Comer should be in your craziest moments of your debate in your Snapchat story with his McDonald's fact. Oh, you're right. That's a good point.
Follow us on Snapchat. Harry J. Sisson on Snapchat.
Harry J. Sisson on Snapchat. Harry J. Sisson on Snapchat.
And Christy
all right, if you're mad,
if you want to, excuse me, Harry.
No, nobody cares. If you're mad, let me know in the chat. I'll bring you up.
Christy Mowry on Snapchat. If you want to follow,
I'll bring you up. Hello?
All right, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, give me 1 second. Let me step outside. I'm on a tugboat right now, so.
I'm so sick of this shit, man.
Hang on. I have something that I think is going to be pretty refreshing for honestly both parties. I'm not going to sit here and debate we both got our opinions. We both believe in our causes just as much. I believe in mine as much as you believe in yours, right? So personally, what I see is there's so many different articles, right? Like we could look something up right now. I'm gonna have 300 articles that back what I believe. You're gonna have 300 articles that back what you believe. Nobody knows what to believe in. You know what I mean? There's so many conflicting opinions, conflicting articles. You could find articles that say Trump boosted the economy. You could find articles that say he didn't. Same thing with Biden. It goes both ways. All right. Really, what I think everybody needs to do is learn how to fucking agree to disagree. That's really all I want to say. Like, it's fucking irritating listening to people like portray themselves so fucking badly and get so worked up over somebody having simply a different opinion.
I get very worked up over criminals and sexual abusers and business fraudsters, don't you?
But I mean you don't exactly know, right? So there's so much corruption on both sides, honestly, in both parties. There's fucking corruption. I don't really support any fucking politician in general.
Trump, you support
now,
your profile picture is you standing in front of a Trump flag, my man. You're doing that right there.
Personally, I don't put Trump in that box. That's my belief. Okay. It's my opinion.
So I don't support politicians except there's one politician who I don't count as a politician.
He hasn't been a career politician.
He was president for 4 years.
Is that a career? A career politician?
Yeah, he was president for 4 years. I'd consider him a politician.
That's your belief. I respect it.
You're doing any like that's crazy. I mean, like, do you consider Obama a politician?
Honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know. I don't involve my entire fucking life around politics. All I'm trying to do is get people to like not get so worked up. You know what I mean? Learn how to agree to disagree. Like I said, you believe in your causes just as much as I believe in mine.
Listen, Justin, I think that's fair, and I agree that like a lot of people are being very angry these days. But I do want to point out, like again, Donald Trump. We're talking about a guy that tried to overturn an election he didn't win. All of his top advisors and staff from his first term say he's completely incompetent, a wannabe dictator, a quote fascist, somebody who doesn't care about the rule of law. Again, most of his hand-selected people, like 90% of them, are not supporting him. This is like a very dangerous time in America, and I think it's like more fair for people to like, it's one policy, it's another thing to agree to disagree on like American values,
And see that where I personally feel like I align with Trump is I genuinely believe that he is a good person. I believe that he is here for the American people. I believe that he wants to make this country better. Now, like I said, I don't want to get too deep into it. I work 84 hours a week. You know what I mean? I don't have time to sit here.
All right, you have a good one.
Oh man, dude.
What?
This guy Harry is so over it. He's so yeah. I was honestly, Justin, appreciate you working hard. I don't know that I can do this anymore, bro. I don't know that I can do debates anymore, man.
Bro, you came up here to say we should be able to agree to disagree while simultaneously. I'm gonna be nice.
No, I'm just saying in general. Like I can't do this, bro. I cannot do this anymore. Like the debates are they're weighing on the soul, man.
No. Let me know in the chat. I'll bring you up. Hey. Yeah, look at this. Look, Larkin, I love this point in the chat. It's easy to say let's all just get along while saying immigrants are all the problem. Yeah, it's like let's just let's all get along, except those damn immigrants. Come on, exactly. Come on, bro. Just miss me with that kumbaya crap.
You know what they say, Harry? When life gives you lemons.
I'm so sick of you too, bro.
Oh, yeah. No, dude, should I tell chat what you were saying on the phone to me earlier? This guy was losing his mind.
What was I? Well, I don't even know what I was saying to you on the phone.
Bro, you were actually like losing it.
About what?
I don't know.
I wasn't losing it on the phone earlier today.
Hold on, I'm gonna text you. Hold on.
All right, go. All right,
It was
Caden,
the
you gotta
last, like,
Caden, you gotta
after
relax in the chat, dude.
After like ranting about all the shit we normally rant about, I'm like, I gotta go like take a nap. You hit me with that right there. You guys losing his mind.
Dude, that's not even true, bro. Hello, are you MAGA?
Yes.
How old are you?
I'm 22.
All right, why are you MAGA?
Well, Trump's economy, right? So after his tax cuts in 2019, the median household income went up 6%, right? The unemployment rate went down and inflation was at 1.5%, right? The tax cuts were his flagship economic policy. And it turned into what was a very good economic year that obviously got destroyed the following year by COVID. But I think we have to understand that that year, right, where his policy was put into place, produced a very robust economy. And so did the years before that as well. But we have to imagine that's going to go back into place, right, once he becomes president again, as compared to the Joe Biden economy, which will theoretically be Kamala Harris's economy, right, that started out really hot with a 5.3% GDP growth, but has slowed down to 1.5%.
So I'm looking at this graph right here. Can you tell me where there's an exponential increase in wages? It's rated by quintile. So as you go up, there's the higher, like the purple line is lowest quintile and so on and so forth. At the top is the. Can you tell me where you see like an exponential increase in wages for like really hardworking people?
There isn't one.
Yeah, there isn't one, right? Yeah. So it's unfortunate, right? So the data is actually not great for when it comes to Trump's tax cut. However, there is a pretty exponential increase for the richest Americans. You see that nice line up there? That goes up. Yeah. That goes up pretty substantially, 2017 onward.
But
so does the purple line even.
That the wealth gap, right, decreased during Trump's presidency as well. The wealth gap percentage.
Are you sure about that?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
I don't think so. I can let me see if I can. Oh, yeah, maybe. I don't know. Maybe I'll take your word for it. I'm looking at graphs right now, but it doesn't really look like that. It looks like quite the opposite. It looks like it kept going up actually from the graphs I'm looking at.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be honest, Harry. I'm not voting for that felon. That guy's a complete idiot.
Fuck yeah. What state are you voting in?
Ohio. So probably isn't going to count, but.
No, it matters. You have an important Senate race.
That's true. Sherrod Brown is my father. I absolutely love that guy.
Well, hell yeah. Have you voted yet?
I'm going to next Thursday. Amazing. Maybe on vacation on election day, so I have to do it early. But
that'll be nice. All right, man. Well, hey, thanks for not voting for Donald Trump. I appreciate you.
Of course.
Thanks, man. All right, we'll bring up the next person. Maddie. Venmo Cash App in the link in the bio if you want to support the live. Venmo Cash App link in bio. Hello? Can you turn off the goddamn TV?
Let me turn that off real quick.
Yeah, appreciate you. Essence, thank you for the $7. Can we get a late night live? Depends. Laura, thank you for the $1. Please tell Chris to get a damn Cash App. He does have a Cash App. It's Chris D. Mowry on Cash App. He does indeed. Venmo Cash App link in the bio.
What's up, bro?
What's up, man?
Why are you voting for Kamala? What's she going to do for us?
She's competent. She's qualified. She's had a career in public service. She's dedicated her life to fighting for average Americans. And as district attorney, as attorney general, as senator, as vice president, she also has good policies that make our lives better, whether it be making it easier to start a small business or making it easier to buy a house or protecting women's reproductive rights or protecting the environment or investing in manufacturing or expanding veterans health care or just expanding healthcare generally. She has policy that covers all of these bases, and I appreciate that. And that, to me, speaks volumes. It certainly speaks louder than Donald Trump, who just rants about himself, his own grievances. And, of course, Donald Trump is a convicted felon, a proven sexual abuser, and a proven business fraudster.
All right. So we're going to break this down because I don't agree. How is she going to make housing more affordable and cheaper?
Yeah, so part of her plan is giving $25,000 in down payment assistance to first-time homebuyers, specifically people who don't make as much money as like the top 1%. What was that?
Let's talk about that one thing. She's gonna give $25,000 to first-time homebuyers.
Yep,
that's what you said. That's never been done before in history.
It's not true.
It's never been done before.
That's not
Explain
true.
how.
So in like major cities around the country, we have like down payment assistance programs already in place. So like Houston,
yeah, we do.
For example,
on a loan. On a loan, we don't give $25,000.
Not all of them are loans. Not all of them are loans.
Oh, every single one is a loan. No one just handing out money. Tell me one.
It's not true. So I believe it's Houston. I believe it's Houston, Texas. They have a down payment assistance program that's not loans. But also, like, what's your problem with the program?
Really? So what is it?
What I just said? Down payment assistance. What is your problem with the program?
Yeah, my problem is she's just giving out $25,000 to a small group of people who get to benefit versus other people who aren't first-time homebuyers. And what it's really going to do when you don't ask people to pay back on your loan is it's just going to inflate housing cost.
Yeah, that's really fucking stupid. Why would it inflate housing costs? Why would it inflate housing costs?
What would you do? If you were selling a house, if you were selling a house and some young dumbass kid just got $25,000, he really wants his house really, really bad.
You don't know if they get it.
You can bump it up on them.
You don't know who's gotten what house or what program and who hasn't. Like you don't know
really?
The person selling the house will not know if somebody's gotten the down payment assistance, correct?
Really?
Yep.
Okay. How about when it's put into law and everyone knows the new law?
Yeah, I mean, people will know it's a law, but they will not know which person in particular has gotten the 25 grand. Also, if for some reason a person lists a house, let's just say like $200,000, and a person's like, yeah, I want to buy this house. And then for some reason that the other person, the seller, suspects that this person was the beneficiary of the down payment assistance program and they jacked the price up $25,000, it's probably likely that the person who might be buying that house would no longer go forward with the purchase because somebody just jacked it up 25 grand, and they'll go to somebody else who has a cheaper house that they'll buy who won't do that. And plus, since there's going to be 3 million new housing units in the market, there's far more competition. And I don't know any realtor out there, any developer who's like, you know what, I'm just going to bump up my prices 25 grand.
Actually, a lot of them. I work.
Yeah, really? Who?
Yeah, and the thing is, a lot of real estate agents are looking for dual sides to represent both sides. And so in order for them to do their right fiduciary, they would have to explain that to both sides. So
I don't know what real estate agents you're talking about, but the point is that if you're about to close a house and you're agree upon price of like 200 grand, and then they suddenly jack it up 25 grand, the person's not going to go forward with the purchase. Also, I don't know why you think that, all of a sudden these programs are going to lead to price increases for housing when, again, we have programs like this around the country.
Well, I'm going to be honest. We don't have 2 points I just want to state before you interrupt. So we don't have any programs that just hand out money. Every single program we had to pay back on a loan. We have FHA loans at 3% down. That's not giving you money. That's giving you that's making on $1 million house. You can put what, 30,000 down. That means you still got to pay your interest. We don't just give out money here, and it's communism.
That's not communism.
No, we're just handing out money. When does handing out money not increase inflation?
So I'm reading about it right now online. The United States has a number of programs, included in New York City, that offers grants or loans to assist with down payment and closing costs. So grants or loans.
So explain that, because I do know of one. If you go to a first-time homebuyers program or teaching of first-time homebuyers, they do give you a small grant of $1,000 because you just got educated on how to buy your first house.
Is that communism?
No, because they worked for it.
Wait, why is that not communism?
Because they worked for it. Because they didn't just hand it out. They got educated on how to buy their first home.
The government's giving them out money to buy a home. That has to be communism.
No, they're not giving it out.
Oh, so if
They
so then you
literally
would,
took
okay,
a
so just to be clear,
class.
you would be in favor of this down payment assistance program if the government then's like, yeah, you have to take like an hour course to learn how to do this, and then they all do, and you'd be like, okay, great.
Well, let's just explain the difference. One's $25,000 and one's $1,000, and one's just handing it out to a small group of
Well, it's
people.
principal, right?
Well, no, one just handing out to a small group of people, and the other one offers it to everybody.
It's not offered to everybody.
But you have to attend the course. You don't just get $25,000.
Yeah, but I mean, you're still the fundamental, the principle is that the money's being handed out, right? So by your logic, then maybe the federal government can just have people take a course and then they can qualify. I think it's like really stupid. It's like, oh, well, you can take a course and then you get the $1,000 for down payment assistance. That's really dumb. But aside from the fact, what was my original question to you?
Look, there's 8 million first-time home buyers in the next 4 years at $25,000 each. That's over $500 billion with the strike of a pen. That's going to increase inflation.
I don't know why that would increase inflation.
You're handing out money, dude. Who's paying?
I mean, so we have plenty of programs like that.
It's what's going to happen.
So we have programs that do this already.
We don't. You haven't named one.
That's not true. I just told you that we have down payment assistance programs
and
around the country.
You gave no context. If it's $500,
we have down payment assistance. We have down payment assistance programs around the country. I just named one for you in New York City, which is not.
Yeah, I named one for you too, but it's $1,000, and you got to go to a course.
And that's fantastic.
It's not 25.
But then by your logic, wouldn't that increase inflation as well?
No, because it's educating.
Wait, why not? You're handing out money.
Let's get this right. The government is offering a grant for people who want to educate themselves on buying their first home, because everyone should be educated on buying their first home. They spend the money. They spend the time out of their day to go get educated on it. It's $500, $500 to $1,000. It's not $25,000.
But wouldn't that increase inflation as well? Because if you're just like
a very smaller point, yes.
So inflation is being increased still by that. That's also really stupid. Do you have any data to suggest that?
It's 50 times more, 25 to 50 times more.
Yeah, for certain groups of people that are low income. And you have to pay your rent on time for 2 years. So it's not just like you get 25 grand, you get 25 grand, you get 25 grand.
Wait.
I also don't know why.
So now you know what you're talking about.
Can you explain to me how that increases inflation, please? Like, give me an in-depth analysis on how that program would increase inflation. And would you argue that these other programs around the country in certain states and cities have also increased inflation? And what's your data for that?
Okay. So if you want to go over the first question you asked, how it's going to increase inflation, I'm pretty sure we all know economics. Do we? Do you?
No, I don't. I don't know what economics is. No.
Okay, that's fine. So I'll explain it.
No, it's a joke.
So, 25,000.
Phone call.
Yeah, I did get a phone call. All right, $25,000. Who's paying it? Everyone who's not a first-time home buyer is paying for people to $25,000. On top of that, you got the people selling the homes, and they're just going to bump up the prices.
Well, guess that's empty.
What? Do you guys fucking hear this? Nah, you'll be all right now. Do you guys hear this?
Who's paying for it, bro?
Do you guys hear that? What the? Bro, what the? Okay, I was not the only one that heard that, right? What the? Anyway, it doesn't matter. Okay, I'm glad. I'm just making sure I wasn't the only one that heard it. Just making sure I wasn't the only one that heard it. Jeez Louise. That was very strange. Okay, good. I'm glad. Jesus Christ. Hold on. Yo, Roxy, thank you for the $2. Maddie's been on before. I don't actually recall him being on before. But maybe, I don't know. We talked to a lot of people. All right, if you're MAGA, let me know in the chat. I will bring you up, and you can tell me why you're MAGA. Let's bring up this person. 11-ish days until the election. Crazy, man. What's
Hey.
up? Hello?
Hey, you hear me, Harry?
Yeah, I can hear you.
How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. So for me, as a veteran that just got out, and I'm like in the IRR and everything, I'm scared of going back into a war, basically, under Kamala. And that's like the only thing that I'm scared of, you know?
Why are you scared of going into war because of Kamala Harris?
It's because of the whole Israel and Palestine thing, because they're both parties are funding Israel, basically, under everything. And Kamala, I've seen in interviews or like clips I've seen on TikTok where she defends it, and that's the only thing that's very like.
Wait, she defends funding Israel?
Yeah. I like.
And you think that's going to bring us into World War III or a broader war?
Yeah, stuff like that, and like.
Doesn't Trump also defend funding Israel?
Yeah, 100%, and that's what scares me too. And I just like, and there's also like Ukraine and Russia and everything too, and that's like I want to put my vote towards someone that's not gonna take me out of the IRR to send me to.
I don't think that their goal or Kamala Harris's goal is to take you out of the IRR. We're not interested in putting American troops on the ground in Israel or Ukraine.
Yeah, and like that's the only thing with me wise. To be honest, I'm very fucking nervous right now because I didn't expect to get in.
Yeah, you're good, man. You're good. What I would say is that I think you have to be more careful about Donald Trump doing that, given the fact that there was almost a broader war with with Iran when he was president. You know, given the fact that Iran attacked us, and also we just learned the other day. I want to say it's from like an Associated Press article, maybe the New York Times, maybe it was CBS, but that Donald Trump was on the phone with Netanyahu and basically said to him, "Do whatever you got to do when it comes to Iran," which I don't think is smart. I don't think just saying like, yeah,
no, not at all, not at all.
I agree. So, and also, Iran, Trump pulled us out of the Iran nuclear deal, which allowed Iran to get closer to a nuclear weapon. Now our own intelligence tells us that they're closer to a nuclear weapon than ever before. So I'd say that if you're like, I really don't want more war, I wouldn't vote for Donald Trump, who increased drone strikes 450%. I'd vote for Kamala Harris, who's been part of the administration, which has virtually ended the drone war and has strengthened our alliances around the world, especially with countries we weren't previously open to, like the Philippines, for example.
Right. But like when I was under Biden and Kamala.
Yeah.
And we did get sent to a combat zone. And
where
I
were
saw
you sent?
her, like, what's that?
Where were you sent?
Do you know where Djibouti, Kenya is? Like that area?
I mean, I'm familiar with Kenya. I'm not familiar with Djibouti, but yeah.
Okay, so Djibouti is like one of the biggest ports in Africa. Gotcha. And that's like, so we got sent there and then traveled down to Kenya. I'm like, I don't know if I should be breaking my secret clearance.
Well, don't say anything you should. Don't say anything you should.
But it's Kenya. You can look it up, like Camp Simba. There was the attack on it in 2020.
Gotcha.
But I was sent there, and during like Biden and Kamala, and I saw during the debate that she said that there was no troops in combat zones, but I got a combat, patch for everything like that and stuff. And I just don't want to see like my brothers and sisters in arms, like who got out, who like want to like renew their lives, because, getting out of the military, you're basically like restarting your life and stuff like that. And I don't want to come back into it like something that was not that great for me, Yeah.
But again, I would just say that like Kamala Harris doesn't want to get us into a war. She's not as pro-war as Donald Trump is. Like, again, Trump increased drone strikes 450%. He dropped the, quote, mother of all bombs, his wording, on Afghanistan during his presidency, and bombed places like Yemen, right? So, I don't think that somebody that drops the mother of all bombs is the most peaceful person in the world. I also don't think that somebody that increased drone strikes and as a result civilian deaths is the most peaceful person in the world. I would vote for Kamala Harris, who's like said, yeah, these things are terrible. Like I would not do these things, and who's not interested in a broader war in the Middle East, and is not giving Netanyahu free reign to do whatever he wants, and is trying to solve these things as opposed to further them, like Netanyahu would be doing, and as just happened tonight with a further strike on Iran.
Yeah, like shit. I'm sorry.
No, don't worry about it. It's all good.
Yeah, but I'm respectable as possible. I go on Trump for blah 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 and Kamala for stuff like that, like on lives, and I want to hear from every point of view because I'm still undecided vote, and my friends are telling me to vote, my family's telling me to vote, and as an undecided voter, it's kind of scary to know that both sides it's you don't know what to do.
Where are you leaning right now? Just out of curiosity.
Out of curiosity, I'm kind of leaning more because I'm a libertarian, so sure. I'm moving more toward Trumpish. But I mean, Kamala has great stuff with the whole Roe v. Wade, I believe that women should, have an abortion whenever, stuff like that. It's weird because, I'm a moderate libertarian, and it goes back and forth, when it comes to both policies, and it's hard to choose when it comes to choosing between the two. Sorry.
Right. I mean, so wait, what state are you voting in?
Oh, I'm in North Carolina. So it's really
all right. Let's lock in here.
Down to shit over here right now. I'll tell you that.
Let's lock in. So wait, say that again. What are your main things that you're thinking about right now?
So going back to just coming back from the IRR,
Yes.
coming back to war. There's also the Roe v. Wade stuff. And then I get the border stuff from both sides, people that come in from, come in quote unquote illegally, and they're doing the jobs that no one else wants to fucking do, But I mean, there should be illegal ways, but it should be also easier to become an American citizen as well. So it's stuff like that.
Well, then you'd be voting for Kamala Harris because she wants a stricter immigration policy. She wants to, as her words are, secure the border. But she also wants to make it easier for people to become American citizens. She thinks that the system we have right now is arcane and outdated and way too complex. Whereas, it could be a lot easier, especially for people who are here working jobs, working hard. They're part of their communities. They're giving back to their communities. And they obviously shouldn't be deported if, they're not doing anything wrong.
Yeah,
That's
right. Like stuff like that. It's
so you would agree with Kamala Harris on that? See, here's the thing. Trump,
I got friends both sides, and it's kind of hard because we don't, whenever we bring up politics, we're boo, don't bring that up around us. We're trying to have fun as a friend group, but I mean stuff like that. So it's very kind of hard as an undecided voter to
I hear that, but here's the thing: your friends are going to be telling you a lot of things. They're going to be in your ear saying, oh, this or that about either candidate. But remember, nobody's going to know how you vote. So you can tell your Trump supporter friends you voted for Trump, but you could vote for Kamala at the end of the day because you truly do agree with Kamala Harris more than you do Donald Trump. You're pro-choice. You believe that women should choose what they want to do with their own bodies. You also are anti-war. Kamala Harris is right there with you. And remember, Donald Trump's own generals, his own former military staff, including chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, whom you're very familiar with, defense secretaries who control the Pentagon, are all saying that Donald Trump is incompetent. He's a fascist, and he can't do the job. And obviously we have all the data on Donald Trump wanting to be a warmonger and the fact that he wanted to get out of NATO, which is the most successful defensive alliance in world history. And when it comes to immigration, you agree with Kamala Harris. Common sense immigration reform, securing the border, but also making it easier to become a citizen. On the issues you're telling me right now, you align with Vice President Harris. You do not align with Donald Trump.
Okay, yeah, because, I don't want people to hate me either because I'm I don't know.
No. Nobody's going to hate you, man. Nobody, trust me. You're one of the better people we have on here. We have people up here screaming that, lizard people are running the world, so you're all right.
I clock into, your lives, all the time, and I'm you know what? I want to say something for the first time. Maybe there's a few drinks in me, but
No, hey, good for you, man. Good for you.
It's Saturday, not Saturday, Friday night.
Friday, almost Saturday, but it's Friday.
Yeah,
yes.
almost. But you gotta be like a couple minutes on that. But but like people treat you like shit all the time. And I'm like, you gotta have like an open conversation with this guy. You can't just disrespect him, you know?
Well, you can make up for all of that if you just go to the polls and vote for Kamala Harris. You have early voting in your state, my man. You should go do that.
We do. And
go vote for Kamala. By the way, I just also want to point out that you have like a lot of great Democrats running down the ballot, and the guy that's running for governor right now in your state of North Carolina for the Republican side, Mark Robinson, called himself
I've been seeing his like ads on YouTube and stuff.
Yeah. But he called himself a quote black German from World War II, a proud black German from World War II. If you kind of catching my drift, I can't say it on TikTok Live, but that's what he called himself.
I can't say it, but like a no German.
Yeah, exactly right. That's what he referred to himself as. And he's endorsed by Donald Trump. We don't want that. North Carolina doesn't need that. You don't need that. Come on, bro.
That's crazy.
Yeah, dude, it's not good. It's not good. So don't vote for that. Point is, you agree with Kamala Harris, so you should go make your voice heard. And again, you don't have to tell anybody who you vote for. You don't got to tell me. You don't got to tell your parents, your family, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, whoever it might be, or your friends, whatever. You don't got to tell them. Just go vote your conscience.
And like for whoever's listening, treat this guy with like respect. Everyone at the end of the day is a human being. We're all U.S. citizens. Like you can't just be like, fuck you, blah, 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 blah. You can't do that, stuff like that. So just treat this guy with.
I appreciate that, man. Hey, listen, like I don't want to take too much of your time. It's a Saturday. Oh, fuck. I messed it up like you did. It's a Friday night. Go enjoy the rest of your Friday night. All right.
All right. You have a good one, man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you. Have a good one.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Hey, maybe 1+ voter in North Carolina. I don't know. But like, no crap. That guy actually agrees with Kamala Harris more than Donald Trump, and Carrie's informing me that the Dodgers won. That's very depressing. Wanted the Yankees to win. Obviously, you represent New York. But anyway, all right. If you're MAGA, let me know in the chat. I appreciate you. Valerie, thank you for the $5, saying thanks for helping me to understand politics a bit more. Can't wait till it's over. Though super anxious about the outcome. Voted today in Maryland, all blue. Kamala, love that, Valerie. Glad that you're getting out there and voting. I'm seeing a lot of people are saying that they're voting early. I love to see it, and voting early is so important. Peyton says $5. Did you enjoy your acai bowl, Peyton? Oh my God, I enjoyed my acai bowl so much. If you're wondering how Peyton knew that, it's because she has me on Snapchat. So you should go add me on Snapchat, Harry J. Sisson. Harry J. Sisson. All right. If you're MAGA, let me know in the chat. I'll bring you up. If you're MAGA, let me know in the chat. I'll bring you up. And we can talk, and you can tell me why you're MAGA. We can talk, and you can tell me why you're MAGA. Let's bring up this guy. Let's see what this guy has to say. Hello?
I'm just going to be super nice here. You do a really good job informing people. I can't vote. My mom, I'm 17 and my
I can't have you on the live.
No.
I know. I'm sorry. I have to kick you. I'm
Thank you
so sorry.
for informing people then. Have a great day.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you. Oh man. Yeah. Sorry. I had to get them off the live. That was very kind though. That was very kind. I appreciate that. You got to be above the age of 18 to be on TikTok live. So that's why I had to remove them. But regardless, I appreciate them and the fact that they are supporting. It's very nice. All right. If you're MAGA, let me know in the chat. I'll bring you up. We can talk. This guy says he's MAGA. Let's give him a shot. Venmo, Cash App in the link in the bio if you want to support the live. Also drop a follow if you haven't already. We do these lives all the time. What's up, man?
How you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
All right.
So, what's your favorite of Kamala's policies?
I don't know. I'm like, it's hard to say because I'm very much in favor of her being pro-choice. I'm very much in favor of her expanding the Affordable Care Act. Very much in favor of, investing in the renewable energy sector. So it's kind of hard to say as to which, what my favorite is, but I like a lot of them. What's your favorite Trump policy that he wants to implement? Oh, is he leaving already? Is it that? No way. No way that's all it took. No way. No way. No way. Tell me it isn't so. Tell me it isn't so. Let's bring up this guy. I think I've seen this guy spamming that he's back. This guy's running, I think. We'll let him see his way out. We'll let him see his way out. No way he's running, dude. Hello?
Hey, what's good, Harry?
What's good, man? How old are you?
28.
Okay, why you MAGA?
I'm not MAGA. I just wanted to get on and say I commend you and I appreciate your efforts.
Thanks, man.
Especially during the Biden campaign, because honestly, I think Biden still is the qualified candidate. And it's unfortunate, that he's gotten up there in age and kind of lost his speaking ability, because I think when he's in the Oval Office, I think he still could be the most capable guy.
I think he's great. I think he's also great. 100%.
But I'll be voting for Kamala in support of him. I wish that on that day I could pencil him in, but it is what it is. I'm rolling with Kamala, and I appreciate you.
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate you and your support, and I appreciate the fact that you're going to go out there and vote for Kamala, all right?
That's all I had to say. I'll get out of your way and let you take down.
Good, bro. You're good, man. Thanks for saying it, though. I appreciate you, all right?
Of course. Thanks, care.
Man. Have a good one. All right, if you're MAGA, let me know in the chat. I'll bring you up. This guy is also spamming at their MAGA, but their profile picture is very questionable. Makes me not want to talk to them, quite frankly. But we'll see. Hello?
You.
How old are you?
18.
All right, why you MAGA?
Oh, 19. Sorry.
What? How do you mess that up?
I just turned 19.
Gotcha. All right, why you MAGA?
I'm MAGA because, I'm 19, I have a full-time job, I'm trying to support myself, and I am planning on moving out on my own. And, under Trump, I was making more money. I know legally, I was 16 at the time, trying to make money. And I was making less hourly then, but I'm pocketing less money now, and I'm making more. Mm-hmm. So can you explain that to me somehow, some way?
Yeah, absolutely. So inflation has gone up in recent years, which has, made your dollar go not as far as it used to. But it doesn't mean that that's because of Joe Biden, and it doesn't mean that Donald Trump is going to solve that. Right. Inflation went up as a result of the COVID pandemic. This was something that happened all over the world in countries that have similar economies to ours, like Great Britain and France and Germany, countries in Europe, countries in Asia. All of their inflation rates spiked at around the same time that ours did. That's because of the COVID pandemic and supply chain issues and supply and demand and whatnot, and the lack of products on the shelves, making those products go up in price because demand was still high for all of these products. So that's what happened. Not a result of any policy that Trump put into place or Biden put into place. It was just something out of the control of the American president. And of course, we know that it's not the American president's fault, obviously, because it happened all around the world. But the point in me saying this is that, number one, it wasn't Biden. But number two, Donald Trump is not somehow going to mysteriously solve this. Like, prices are not going to come down rapidly if Donald Trump gets into office. It's never happened before in American history, or at least it's never happened before, and that'd be a good thing. Because de-inflation does happen, but it often is not a good thing. That could be a sign of an economy collapsing. So,
all right, I can see that. What are your thoughts on our borders today versus how they were under Trump?
So there has been an influx in migration in recent years because, again, of the COVID pandemic. It was specifically kind of aligned with those years. Matter of fact, the spike that we saw in migration actually started under Donald Trump. You can see it in the graphs that are released by the Border Patrol. And the reason why more people came to the border in recent years is because, again, of COVID. It forced them out of their home countries, kind of took away their jobs. They were seeking economic opportunity. They still had to put food on their table. So they turned to the United States and other developed countries like Canada and countries in Europe and Asia to try to find work and take care of their families. And this has been a global phenomena. Again, countries in Europe experienced the same thing, just like we did in the United States. Canada took in a record amount of migrants last year as well. All kind of in line with the COVID pandemic. So also, that's not a failure of Joe Biden's immigration policies. Biden didn't do anything to make it easier for people to come in.
Next question. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, Biden didn't do anything to make it easier for people to come in. It was just more people came to the border and they were seeking asylum, which.
So as if he didn't make anything, he didn't change anything to stop people from coming in either, right? Or no?
Well, he actually put forward a number of pieces of policy. So actually on day one of his presidency, he introduced an immigration policy. So 20 minutes after he took the oath of office and got to the Oval Office, he already sent a bill to Congress. Republicans decided to not work with Democrats on that. And then there was another bill in 2023 that Democrats and Republicans wrote together on immigration. It was bipartisan and invested more in Border Patrol, hiring more agents to deal with drugs and expanded immigration courts, things like that. And Republicans didn't work with Democrats on that either. At least they voted against the bill because Trump told them to.
So in that bill, as far as I'm concerned, there was a few things I saw about it, about how it was like $118 billion bill or something like that, right?
Well, the bill had different variations. So initially, it was a bill that addressed multiple things. It had funding for Ukraine in it, for example.
Yes,
at one point.
that was what I. Yes, so
Yeah.
it had funding for Ukraine, and I don't know what I'm pretty sure it was like 6% of like the actual entire money was going to the actual border, and everything else was being different countries. Is that true, or is that?
So not the final variation of the bill. The first variation of the bill had foreign policy funding in it as well, because in Congress it's just easier to pass one big bill as opposed to like voting on individual things and getting it through committee and debate and things like that. So they kind of just all agreed on this stuff. So they thought they could put it together. But Republicans were like, no, we actually don't agree with the immigration portion. So they split up the bills, and the Ukraine funding was voted on by Congress and passed. Overwhelmingly, Republicans and Democrats voted for it. When it came to the immigration portion of the bill, Republicans held that half up still. It's still sitting in Congress.
Okay. So under Trump, pre-COVID under Trump,
yeah,
would you agree to say that the border was in much better, a position than it was under Barack Obama, or no?
I think it was like relatively the same position. I think like Trump was, what was that?
Yeah, pretty much the same.
I'd say it's like relatively the same. Yeah. Trump's border policies were more inhumane. So I'd probably say like in terms of just general immigration, it was probably worse. But I'd say like in terms of like security, it's relatively the same. It's also important to note that the security is also relatively the same under Joe Biden right now. Like, they haven't fired Border Patrol agents. They haven't tore down the fence that's at the border. They haven't loosened immigration restrictions. It's relatively the same. It has been for a while now.
Okay, I see that. Do you think, under the Biden-Harris administration, they could have, done a little bit more towards the border security over the past, few years, like after COVID, post-COVID?
Yeah, I think it's hard to say, just because in order to get like comprehensive reform passed, you got to go through Congress. And they tried, they've tried multiple times to get Congress and Republicans to work with us on an immigration bill. And every single time they've said no. We even have Republicans being very open about their intentions and why they said no. For example, Representative Troy Nehls from Texas, he's a very staunch pro-Trump Republican. He said, quote, when Biden was the candidate, "I will not work with Joe Biden because I think it'll boost his poll numbers when it comes to immigration." So, they're not doing this because they disagree on immigration. They're just saying, yeah, I don't want to help Joe Biden or Kamala Harris. So I think that like it's hard to blame them when, like one half of Congress is just saying no, under no circumstance will I work with you.
Okay, yeah. So just probably one of my final things.
Yeah.
So Donald Trump, you always hear him preaching about how, when he gets, voted, he's going to be the next president. Even prior to him being inaugurated, he's going to have that Ukraine war completely over.
Yeah.
Do you think, two parts to the question. Do you think if that is the case, he does win, do you think he will have that war over? And if not, how long do you think Kamala Harris would take to end that whole situation over there?
Yeah, so I think when Trump says that, it's total crap. He says a lot of things for votes. So when he says that, it sounds very appealing, but there's not a single national security expert out there who thinks that Donald Trump would be able to do that and that it's just that simple. Matter of fact, Donald Trump's former military generals, national defense secretaries, chief of staff, who was a 4-star general, also have all said that he's incompetent, that he's dangerous, that he actually doesn't know anything about U.S. history and doesn't know anything about the military. So I'd be with all these really competent people who are not Democrats or Republicans saying that Trump is not good at that. I'd find it hard to believe that he'd somehow be able to get it done in a way that, these really talented people have not been able to. It's almost like asking, like, who do you think would be, do you think that I would be able to lead like the fucking Saints to a Super Bowl? Probably not, right? Because I don't know how to throw a football like a quarterback should. So it's kind of like that same kind of thing. Whereas with Kamala Harris, I don't really know if we can put a date on like when Kamala Harris would be able to solve the war. But what I do know is that Kamala Harris's policy would be far better for Ukraine. and far better for long-term peace and stability for our allies. Whereas Donald Trump is very shaky on supporting our allies. Like, the final thing I'll say here is that, when he was campaigning for president in the past couple of months, he said that if he got elected, he would allow Russia to do, quote, whatever the hell they want with NATO countries that didn't pay their dues for that year. That doesn't really scream peace to me. So I don't know.
Yeah, no, I understand that. It's just, I don't have, too much time throughout my day to look at specific policies on both sides. I just kind of look at, the numbers and, just as a whole, how the country was. And like looking at it from like an outside point, I would say, everything, wise, just looking at it, it was better under Trump than it is. But you got to take into consideration of everything that's been going on. But, right now, I'm probably still going to vote for Donald Trump. And, I'm always open-minded. I can always change. But as of right now, I'm just going to keep, watching the lives, doing my own research, and see what's going on.
And what state are you voting in?
Connecticut. So very hard left.
JW, thank you for the 20 subs. That makes sense. All right, man. Well, hey, listen, if you want to have a future conversation and maybe hopefully change your mind, you're welcome to come back up in the future and ask more questions or have a conversation.
Definitely.
No problem. All right, man. I appreciate you. Have a good one, all right?
Thanks,
man. Nice guy. Changing minds takes time. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's the thing. Please. So, oh my God, somebody in the comments said, hold on. Somebody in the comments said, where is this comment? I just saw it. Hold on. Oh, Tony said, I'm writing your name for President Harry. Please do not do that. Please do not write my name in for president. That would be not good. Not now, at least. Thank you, JW, for the 20 subs, by the way. And thank you, JW, for the $50 on Venmo saying, showing some love. Next time you talk to Chris, tell him to eat more instead of drinking caffeine. Have a good night, bud. JW, I appreciate that a lot. Thank you. Thank you so much. I will deliver the information to Chris. I will let him know. We will definitely tell Chris that next time. I appreciate the $50. Drop some W's in the chat for JW. Also, Elizabeth, thank you for the $47 saying, hi, thank you for all that you do with spreading information. My mom and I voted down the ballot in the Chicagoland area. I haven't seen the line so long since Obama. It took 40 minutes to vote. Wow. I like to hear that. Yo, Elizabeth, thank you for the $47. Drop some W's in the chat for Elizabeth and JW, $47 and $50. It's incredibly kind. And she voted today in Chicago, or Chicagoland, I should say. That's awesome. We love that. Look at the person in the chat. Can you and Dean go live together one day? Absolutely. I go live with Parker and Dean every once in a while, you know. All right, let me know if you're MAGA in the chat. I gotta go, I gotta work out. I gotta go ride the Peloton now. But I'll do one more. debate. Let me know if you're MAGA in the chat. I will bring you up and you can tell me why you're MAGA. Let's bring up this guy. Give him a chance. Why not? Venmo, Cash App in the link in the bio if you want to support the live. Also, drop a follow if you haven't already. All that good stuff. Hello. How old are you?
I am 42.
All right, why are you MAGA?
Because I am anti-war.
Okay, so why would that lead you to vote for Donald Trump?
Because one party is advocating for war and the other party is advocating against war.
So how is Donald Trump advocating against war exactly?
He did not enter any wars, and he is the only person talking about ending wars. The other party is interested in advancing wars. You have the Cheneys and other people who were in the Republican Party, and they were supporting wars when they were in the Republican Party, and now they are supporting the Democrats.
Yeah, because of democracy, not because of wars. It's because your guy tried to overturn an election he didn't win, and is laying the groundwork right now for trying to overturn 2024, at least question the results of 2024 if he loses. So they're not doing it because they're pro-war.
Well, I'm talking about wars.
No, I know you're talking about wars, but you brought up the Cheneys as to why they're endorsing Kamala Harris and Democrats. It's not because of wars or their policy on war. It's because Donald Trump wants to destroy American democracy.
Right. Well, it's for war. They are.
They're not endorsing. How many times do I have to say this? They're not endorsing Kamala Harris because of their war policy or their foreign policy.
I do not care about the specific reason that they are supporting.
Well, you brought up their name, so
the reason they are supporting them, they stand for war themselves.
How does Donald Trump not stand for war?
Because he speaks frequently about ending wars.
Yeah. I know that Donald Trump speaks he talks a big talk. He does that often with like a lot of policies, especially with like the economy. Says, I'm going to get rid of this tax, this tax, this tax. By the way, he was president for 4 years, didn't do any of that. But I think actions speak louder than words. I think you would agree. And when Donald Trump was president, I'm going to give you the whole spiel like I do normally. People already probably know what I'm about to say. He increased drone strikes 450%. Civilian deaths went up dramatically, especially in Afghanistan, where civilian deaths went up 330%. We killed a top Iranian general, which then led to Iran attacking the United States and injuring 109 U.S. soldiers, giving them traumatic brain injuries. Donald Trump dropped the, quote, mother of all bombs on Afghanistan. He also bombed places like Yemen, Iraq, Syria. More American troops died abroad under Donald Trump than they did under Joe Biden. So I'm just curious, like, where do you see this anti-war stuff going on?
I'm curious. The Democratic Party has drone striked an American citizen. You know what I'm talking about, I assume.
What are you referencing in particular? I'm not. You say this, it's like very vague. Like, what are you talking about?
When Obama was president, they drone striked an American citizen. That citizen was engaging in bad behaviors, but they did drone strike an American citizen.
I mean, maybe I'm not honestly familiar with the individual circumstance you're referencing, but I don't think that speaks to Donald Trump being anti-war. He didn't refute anything I just said.
He is campaigning on ending wars.
I know what he's campaigning on, but we have the nice thing about this election is we actually have like a record of the Republican nominee, and we have a record for the administration that the Democrat is serving in right now. And the record that the Republican has is very much pro-war and like bombing our enemies constantly.
Are you telling me that Kamala Harris is anti-war?
I think that Kamala Harris is... thank you, JW, for another 10 gifted subs. I appreciate it, man. I think Kamala Harris is war when we need it kind of individual, just like Joe Biden. Like Joe Biden has virtually ended the drone war. He's far more anti-war than Donald Trump is, and you can just look at the numbers on this. The numbers are clear. And Kamala Harris has served in this administration, kind of talked about having the same position that, we don't need to be drone striking all of these different countries every single day. We don't need to be spending millions and millions and billions of dollars, that is, on different drone strikes in all these countries every single day. Whereas Donald Trump did in his presidency. You're voting for the guy who's more pro-war.
No, that's not true. Because like you said, you need to have strength to prevent wars. So war is a fact that all nations have the capability to do.
So we
have one party who has been in power the past 4 years, and what they have done is had multiple wars on multiple fronts escalate.
What fronts?
Escalate.
What fronts is the United States having a war on right now?
We have a war going on in Ukraine. We have a war
We're
going
not
on
directly involved in that war.
Yes, we are.
No, we are not. We do not have troops on the ground. There's no front.
We are engaged in a proxy war with Russia.
We are funding Ukraine, which we've been doing for a long time now. Donald Trump funded Ukraine as well.
Yes, and the war needs to end.
Okay, so we both agree that the war needs to end, but the war shouldn't end by just giving Russia whatever they want, right? Whereas Donald Trump is saying, like, he's flirted with that idea. Diana, thank you for the subscription. He's flirted with that idea. And again, this is somebody who I was just telling the last gentleman that Trump on the phone told Netanyahu when it came to striking Iran to just do whatever you need to do. That doesn't sound very anti-war to me. That sounds like a big escalation. I don't think that's funny.
Right.
Thank you, JW, for another gifted sub, man. You're killing it. I appreciate it.
So when war inevitably does happen, you would rather have Kamala Harris as the commander-in-chief.
Yeah, I don't think war is inevitable, but hypothetically, if a war were to take place, I would most certainly rather have Kamala Harris. Without a shadow of a doubt, have Kamala Harris.
That strikes me as odd.
Why would you rather have Donald Trump? Somebody who, again, has been called by his own generals, his own defense secretaries. He's been called incompetent and dangerous. Why would you rather have that guy?
They're likely liars.
They're liars. So these people have dedicated their life to service. These people who have served in uniform for 4 decades with John Kelly, his own son died in battle. You think that guy is a liar?
Probably.
Really? It's kind of fucked up, don't you think, to call some of the people who served in our military the longest liars?
No, because you shouldn't equate one thing to the other.
What?
You can still serve in the military and you can still be a liar.
No doubt. But when it comes to stuff like this, why do you believe they're lying? You have to have like some evidence, because we have a really common trend here, which is former Trump administration officials, actually 40 out of 44 not endorsing him. Many of these folks going on the record to talk about how incompetent Donald Trump is. So it's not one person. It's not a couple people. It's many, many people under Donald Trump saying that this guy has no idea what he's doing. So you think all of these people, even his own vice president, are collectively lying about him?
Yes.
Yeah, that's just crazy shit.
You also have people who refute the things that these people say, and it's likely in their political interest.
I don't know. What political interest does John Kelly or Mark Milley have? They're not running for office. They've never run for office.
They work in political positions.
They do not work in political positions. John Kelly, or for example, maybe you want to call the chief of staff a political position. I could see that. But with the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, that is not a political position.
You do not get to that level and operate in that position without being involved in politics to some degree.
You served in the military. That's how he got there. He served in the military.
Are you telling me there's no politics in the upper levels of the military?
Not politics in the way that like we would understand it, like, Trump versus Kamala. Like there's politics in, the word not used in a government sense, like kind of like in a debate sense. You say it's like the politics of the game, right? So that doesn't mean government politics, but, debate and things like that. I'm sure that's very present in the upper ranks of the military, but not like, Biden versus Trump in the upper ranks of the military.
Exactly. These statements come out as political statements.
So we have the overwhelming majority of Trump's cabinet not endorsing him. You have some of the people that he appointed to be chief of staff, defense secretary, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. All of these people are liars.
To some degree, yes.
Yeah, this is just utter crap. I mean, look, the fact of the matter is that if the same happened with Kamala Harris, you'd say, these, you got to listen to these people. And I'd say, that's actually a pretty valid argument to say like, a vice president not endorsing his president is, doesn't really happen in American history. I don't think it's ever happened before in American history. So it's a pretty big deal, especially a lifelong conservative like Mike Pence. But that's too rational, I suppose. You have to go down conspiracy route.
I think the Conservative Party is likely changing.
What?
You have the Conservative or the Republican Party changing. You have people who are pro-war and neocons getting pushed out of the Republican
Trump
Party.
is pro-war.
Right.
He increased drone strikes 450%.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody who's anti-war does not go dropping the mother of all bombs on Afghanistan. All right, you have a good rest of your night. I'm done with this conversation. This is going nowhere. I'm gonna go ride the Peloton now. I'm sick of people for the night. I'm sick of people for the night. I apologize for wrapping it up there. We like 2.5 hours, decent live. But I'm sick of people for the night. Yura, thank you for the subscription. I appreciate you. And Ancient Alley. Oh, thank you, JW, for the was that 50 gifted subs? Was that 50? Is that somebody just said 50. Is that 50 gifted subs? Yes? Holy crap. Yo, JW, thank you for the 50 gifted subs. That is insane. Holy. Yo, please show some love for JW in the chat with 50 gifted subs. He also dropped $50 on Venmo tonight. This guy is lethal when it comes to the support, man. He's always supporting the live. I appreciate you. And Logan, thank you for the $1. Add me back for Black Ops. Got you, my man. Thank you for the 50 gifted subs. Yo, show some love for JW in the chat. I appreciate that so much, man. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Show some love for JW in the chat. Throw some W's in there. I'm going to end it here because, as I said, I'm sick of talking to these people for the night. And it's also a weekend, so we'll call it for the evening. But we'll try to be back tomorrow. I can be back tomorrow. So anyway, ladies, gents, boys and girls, everybody in between, we're going to wrap up the live. Please follow on all the different platforms: Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Snapchat. All of those links are in my bio. It'd mean a lot if you could go follow on those things. By the way, on the Snapchat, we do a fun little series called craziest / funniest moment of the debates for every night. So if that's something that interests you, go and follow on the Snapchat. Harry J. Sisson on Snapchat, Harry J. Sisson on Instagram and on Twitter and on YouTube, and of course TikTok. Drop a follow here if you haven't already. We do these lives all of the time. And follow on all the platforms. And what else do I have to share with you? I like your Snapchat, says Lori. Thank you, Lori. I appreciate that. So have a great day tomorrow, guys. It's a Saturday. It's the weekend. Enjoy some college football. There's some good games. Everybody watch Penn State. Hopefully they can win tomorrow. But, knowing Penn State, well, we'll see. Although I love my Nittany Lions. We'll have to see what happens. So watch some college football tomorrow. Enjoy yourself. Have a great weekend. See some people you care about, you love, and, tell them you love them, all that good stuff. And, all right, go raid these people. Good Trouble's live. Parker's live. Is Tommy live? Let's give Tommy a raid. Oh, he's not live. Or at least not that I can see. But Parker's live. Definitely Parker get a job. Go tell him that we care about him. Go tell him that he's awesome. And then Harry Raid. Fill the chat with Harry Raid. Let him know. And all right. We will leave it there, everybody. I appreciate you guys. Have a good one. We will talk soon, all right? All right. Bye, everybody.
To dispute the case? What gives you any reason to dispute it?
Stuff I've read.
Like? And Harry, thank you so much for the raid. Thank you so much, Harry.
I just
Tree, is it possible you could send that in the
Thank you for
Discord?
the $1.